The Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg presents the Hendricks County Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Tonight's game is being broadcast with the help of Audiosportsonline.com and is underwritten by the Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg, Panini's Pizza and Wings, Westside Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Heat Face, State Farm Insurance, Ivy Tech, Crane Credit Union, Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, and Avon Dental Center. Welcome to Bill Estes Field in CF Works Stadium on the campus of Brownsburg High School, where tonight the rivalry continues as the 9th-ranked Brownsburg Bulldogs host the 10th-ranked Avon Orioles in the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me on the pregame show from Brownsburg tonight. The Bulldogs come in a perfect 3-0 to start the season under new head football coach John Hart. They're led by senior quarterback Hunter Johnson, who is committed to play for Clemson and has been named the only Indiana player with a chance for the Maxwell Award. That goes to the top high school player in the country. Meanwhile, the Avon Orioles, this is their 4th straight game playing against top 10 of opposition. They won last week, beating then number 4 Hamilton Southeastern 31-28 to go to 2-1 on the season. And they come to Brownsburg tonight hoping to keep on a roll. This game has been a rivalry, well, for as long as many people can remember. And when we come back on the pregame show, we're going to be talking to both head coaches, the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Mark Bless, and the head coach of the Brownsburg Bulldogs, Coach John Hart. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Game of the Week pregame show on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Reynolds Body Shop has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, providing collision repair. They're located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com or call 317-243-2372. McNamara Florist has been in business since 1954 with 8 locations, including the Avon store on Rockville Road. They offer floral designs for various occasions. They're located at 9655 East Highway 36 in Avon and can be reached at 317-579-7900.
Every Saturday at 1 p.m., hear Bob Jenkins with the Hoosier Top 20. Each week, Bob picks a different year and an Indiana radio station, then plays the survey Top 20 Countdown from that station. And it's only here on WYRZ, underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg. This week, Bob features WNAP from this week in 1969.
All right, it's time to talk to the head coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. Avon coming off of a big win on Friday night as they knock off number 4 Hamilton Southeastern by the score of 31-28, and a game that how quickly things can change. The week before you have Ben Davis and you turn the ball over 6 times, and that game ended pretty much like most people would think when you turn the ball over 6 times. This time you get 3 turnovers. You get 3 pickoffs of senior quarterback Adam Mullet of Hamilton Southeastern. One of them returned for a touchdown by Bryant Fitzgerald, and when you're on the plus side of the turnover battle, a lot of good things can happen.
Oh, absolutely, and, that was our demise last week against Ben Davis. You can't win a ball game against a good team, let alone, a state contending team when you turn the ball over as many times as we did against them. So it was nice this week to see that we protected the ball better. I believe we had 1 turnover, and it was a deep interception on a 3rd down. So, realistically, you look at that, sometimes that's as good as a punt. But, Ian Pendleton had an interception, Carson Nyheiser, and, of course, Fitz's interception return for a touchdown. Just big game-changing, momentum-changing events in the game, and I thought our players handled it well.
Talking about momentum, this was a game early. We watched Jackson Sweeney run off a 69-yard touchdown run, got into the second line of defense on their opening drive and, had a couple of nice runs. But after that, your defense didn't get down. In fact, they really buckled down and did a nice job against that Southeastern running attack.
I agree, Brian. I thought defensively we've played well for 2 weeks, even though we've given up some points. And I think it's getting better. We're playing more consistent, but I think that's the key word. On the long touchdown run the other night, in the first possession, we have a nose and a linebacker in the wrong spot, and they found that hole. And when two guys are out of alignment, whether if somebody fell down or somebody got blocked, then you've got the potential to give up a big play, and certainly they did capitalize on that. But I thought as the game went, we didn't hang our heads over the big run. We kind of rallied and played strong defense. I thought we pressured the quarterback well, broke up some plays in the passing department, and I thought we minimized their run after that long run.
Keeping it on the defensive side, this is a game that when we go back and look at it, you've got a couple of real good contributions, of course, from Brian Fitzgerald, of course, Alex Griffith, Camden Morrell. But as a whole, you pretty much had 11 guys out there all doing a really good job making sure they got to the football.
Oh, absolutely. I think we run well to the ball. I don't think, we have guys that are lazy and take plays off, which affects your pursuit to the ball. I think our guys are determined to try to get 11 people to the ball every time. It may not always happen, but if we have 7 to 8 guys there, then we should be able to secure a tackle.
When we take a look at the offense of this game, and it's probably really the first time we've seen Samson James, I would say probably fully healthy. And if this is what that young man can do when healthy, 27 carries for 124 yards and a touchdown, he helped give you that overall offensive balance that also helped your passing attack.
It did. I thought Sampson played real well. He was very determined and
The Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg presents the Hendricks County Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Tonight's game is being broadcast with the help of audio. It's been with Avon. I've seen, of course, with Hamlin Southeastern. We're starting to see this trend of whether it's by design or just the way it's playing out, of kickoffs becoming these very high, short kicks and just trying to I don't say eliminate the return game, but mitigate it. Is that something conscious, or you think that's just kind of how things have been playing out?
Yeah, no, I think, the pooch kick has become very popular to try to keep the ball out of an explosive athlete's hands. There are times we do it, and it happens to us a lot. And I think, it gives an opportunity for the kick coverage to get down the field. And maybe you're kicking it to somebody that's not used to fielding it, or possibly they're going to fair catch it and take it on the 25 or 30-yard line. So, I think it's a safe play, but you still got to play football.
The Orioles 2-1 now on the air after a very impressive win and a big win against Hamilton Southeastern. Now they make their trip to Brownsburg to face the Brownsburg Bulldogs. And, Coach, this is a team, as far as senior quarterback Hunter Johnson is concerned, you've got enough film of him. As you enter play this week, there's a couple of unknown commodities as far as who else the Bulldogs might have that you're going to be focusing on. And, of course, Bulldogs have a new head coach, Coach John Hart. I'm sure you've been around for a long time. You remember when Coach Hart was at Warren Central. What do you expect to see from a Coach Hart-led Brownsburg Bulldogs squad?
Well, certainly he's a very good coach. You know, he's got some state championships and a lot of wins under his belt. He knows how to coach football, and he does a great job. I think going into this week, it's kind of the same as last week for us. We've got to take care of what we need to improve upon and be ready for another physical game. And with it being a rivalry game, we've got to be ready to go and not get too high over the highs and not get too low in the lows. So it's a matter of, continue our process of trying to have weekly improvement.
You're going to face senior quarterback for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, Hunter Johnson, yet once again. You've had good success in the past against Hunter. What has been some of the keys that you think of having good success against a quarterback that is, of course, very, very highly rated to be playing for Clemson next year?
Oh, right. You know, he's a very good quarterback. His older brother had played for us, and at one point in time, Hunter was in, our system as a younger player. So we know certainly the athletic ability. He's not only can he throw the ball, he runs the ball very effectively. Really we got to be able to contain him to the pocket, be able to handle some of his deep ball threats with some of the receivers they have, and they have very good speed. So we're going to make sure that we corral him and keep him in the pocket, but mostly be able to cover up the receivers.
Is this a game in the past? We've seen Brownsburg last year, and the past couple of years, of course, they've had a very talented tailback in Toksak and Rabati, who now plays for Iowa. This is a Brownsburg team that maybe not as strong with a running game, but as you said, very, very strong with some very fast wide receivers. Yeah,
absolutely. And some of the things they do in the run department through the zone read or some kind of an option, when Hunter becomes the ball carrier, as well as a running back. I think the Gill player runs hard. He's got a good strong base to him. So between those two, you got to make sure that you've got your bases covered in the run game. But certainly you got to be ready for the pass against Brownsburg.
The first couple of games we saw of the Bulldogs, while their offense really wasn't into gear, they showed that they had what looked to be an improved defense over last year.
They do, but they have a lot of the same players playing. And, of course, when they go from sophomores to juniors or juniors to seniors, they're probably going to be better. And they're much more physical. They seem to be playing, assignment football, and they do a good job. But, a lot of the guys we're playing against Friday played against us last year. So they do have experience.
This will be a bit of a new wrinkle to this long-time rivalry as the newly minted Rotary Bell is up for grabs. What are your thoughts on a new trophy that is now on this huge rivalry?
Well, that's a good question. Throw a little more fuel on the fire, I guess. We'll see how it plays out. In our minds, yes, we want to prepare for week 4 game, but also there's a lot riding on it. We tell our seniors 5-10 years down the road, this is a game you're going to remember. So don't leave any regrets on the field and be ready to play. And now there's also the bell, the traveling bell that will be locked into the fall sports.
That was the head football coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. When we return on the pregame show, we'll hear from the head football coach of the Brownsburg Bulldogs, Coach John Hart. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week pregame show on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Red Cobra Wrestling offers training sessions from Chad Red. They're located at 9233 East Highway 36 in Avon, across the street from Walmart and behind sidelines in the Red Brick Building. They offer sessions for all ages, including 3rd grade and under and 4th grade and up. Learn more at redcobrawrestlingacademy.com. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher Lefebvre of Avon Dental Center have been in practice in Hendricks County for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area, just east side of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or by calling 317-272-8100.
Tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for Foundational Causes with host William Roadhamel. William is the executive director of the Hendricks County Community Foundation and interviews local nonprofits. You can be informed with charitable organizations in and around Hendricks County with Foundational Causes, hosted by William Roadhamel, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. And if you miss an episode, you can hear an archived version of each program on wyrz.org. This week, William's guest is Susan Rosie from Leadership Hendricks County.
Welcome back to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week pregame show. I'm now talking to the head football coach of the Brownsburg Bulldogs, Coach John Hart. The Bulldogs off to a fantastic start this season, 3-0 to begin the season, ranked number 9 in Class 6A after a win last week against Franklin as the Bulldogs defeated Franklin, the Grizzly Cubs, by the score of 46-30. Bulldogs get off to a fast start. They lead 20-7 at the half before cruising on to the 46-30 win. Franklin, a little bit of a rally in the fourth quarter, but by that time your second team was in. After 3 games, why don't you give us an assessment of what your Bulldogs have done on the field so far?
Well, you know, our defense is kind of clicking pretty well. We've any mistakes that we've made have been, or people have taken advantage of, have really been all mental ones as opposed to physical ones. And so we've kind of progressed on that. I love our defensive coaching staff, bringing in Casey Poppin-Foos and then having Josh Yoder move over to the other side of the ball have really kind of made us a sound defense. And I think we've progressed in a lot of areas. To be honest, I think our defense is only allowed to touchdown a game with our first defense, which is outstanding. So I like that. I love the effort of our kids. And we do have some, obviously we have Hunter and we have some talented kids in that senior class. And then we have some younger kids who have a chance to be really, really special. So the program's good in some different ways, but we have a lot of developing yet to do.
You talk about that defense. If the offense might be a little on the young side, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, you've got a defense that you had a lot of sophomores and juniors last year under head coach Brett Comer. This year they're juniors and seniors, and like you said, after 3 games, you've seen how well they play, especially a young man by the name of Storm Garnett.
Storm has really played exceptionally well all year. And I tell you, I think has played about as good as you can possibly ask is Isaac McCormick. I think he's been the most consistent player and playing at a really, really high level. And obviously he's a great wrestler. We think we'll win the state championship in wrestling as well. But he's went from a guy who was really, really inconsistent last year to a guy who's playing exceptionally well this year. And Nate Walton is probably the other guy who's made a lot of really big plays for us. And he's been able to take on some of the other high-skilled kids we've played and compete at a really high level. And so those 2 guys would be 2 guys that, along with Storm, that I would put up really high.
We talk about the offense, and, of course, we have to start with your senior quarterback, as Hunter Johnson this year has thrown for 745 yards, 6 touchdowns. He has been picked off 3 times, but when you came into Brownsburg in the offseason after taking over the program, you probably had a good idea of what you had in Hunter Johnson. What are some of the things that you are maybe a little surprised at how good he is that you really didn't know until you saw him in person?
Well, we found that out. One of the things we found out was in the offseason, he is an absolutely freak of an athlete. His vertical jump is explosive. It's high. Like, a lot of people know that part of it, but it's so explosive. When we do jump boxes and stuff, I think there's a thing out on YouTube even with us doing it. So athletically, they have him ranked as the number one pocket passer, but he's really not. His times and his measurements is really higher than the guy he's going to be eventually replacing at Clemson, that everybody thinks is such a great athlete. So at this time, he was actually higher than even he was. So I think that piece, and I think the other thing that a lot of people miss, he's about the most humble, sincere, quality kid. Maybe he's as good as a kid as he is talent, and we have a lot of those kids. I won't say he's the only one, but I think that's another thing that a lot of people may not know about him. It's just how good a kid he is.
Let's talk about the team overall. As you came into the off season, you see film, but of course, until you actually get to work with your players, you sometimes don't get a really good sense of what you have. When you came in and took over for former head coach Brett Comer, and you saw the group you had, what were some of the things that really stood out about what the team that you had to work with?
Well, I think on the negative side, the side we knew we were going to have to get a lot better at was kids coming every day and and kind of embracing the grind. If you don't embrace the grind in football, it's a little bit like life. You'll fail, and because it's not just those sunny good days, and it's not just Friday nights when 6,000 people are out there. Those days are all answered in the off season, or at least give you an opportunity. And so that was our first challenge, and we've had great buy-in, and our kids do come every day, and now getting them to compete as high as we possibly can every day was our next challenge. And because athletically we measure versus all the teams in our conference and all the teams in our sectional, we're, like you said, we're really, really young, skilled wise. After we got run around, Coach Whitaker, who's our receivers coach, he goes, Coach Hart, you realize our receivers have 6 varsity snaps amongst all of them. So, and yet they're maybe the most talented group on the field. Those 3 guys are all exceptionally talented, and we have some guys that rotate in for them that are great high school football players. So I think that was one of the surprises. Not surprises, but challenges, was getting that consistency, and the kids have bought into that very well.
It is time for a rivalry game. This seems to be the week throughout most of central Indiana, in fact, all of Indiana, that we see a lot of these rivalry games. And no matter what level of football you've coached or played on, each team has a rivalry. As you watch the Avon Orioles come in, who are coming off of a huge win against Hamilton Southeastern last Friday night, they're ranked 10th in Class 6A. Their only loss is to the number 2 team in the state, Ben Davis, in Week 2. What do you see as Coach Mark Bless brings his Avon Orioles to Brownsburg tonight?
Well, he has obviously a great athlete in Fitzgerald, and everybody kind of knows about him. What a lot of people don't know is that 2 of his sophomore offensive linemen were starting on his semifinal, and they were freshmen. I'll tell you how special those 2 kids are. So they've got a year under their belt, and they're only sophomores, which is really unusual. And they look like straight Division I kids whenever they get to that point. So offensively, he's just has him so well coached. And the quarterback reminds you a lot of the kid from Bloomington South. He doesn't make very many mistakes. He throws the ball on time where it's supposed to go. He understands defenses. And again, that a lot comes, back to coaching. And, defensively, they've got a great nose tackle. And then obviously Fitzgerald, who's, I think, scored as many touchdowns as most kids have on offense. He's done on defense. He breaks on the ball better than anybody I could ever remember from a strong safety outside linebacker position. So getting back to answering your question, they're physical, they're extremely well coached, and they have an incredible football player in Fitzgerald.
This is a rivalry game, and this year a little different spin on the usual Brownsburg-Avon rivalry, as the B&O Rotary Bell has been introduced, and it doesn't just pertain to the football team. All the fall sports will be the head-on-head, one-on-one matchups. Whoever wins the most at the end of the fall term will take home that bell for that term. You've been through a lot of rivalry games from Warren Central down to Evansville and up to Chicago. Is there anything about the Avon Brownsburg game that you remember from, let's say, your days at Warren Central?
No, and the programs have went through different eras. There's, Coach Comer had some great years where the teams were undefeated here, and it seemed like at that time Coach Bless was just getting in and kind of getting his feet on the ground at Avon, and now they've kind of risen to the top of this sectional and the top of our conference. And I don't think anybody doubted that would happen with with the athletes they have and the school and then him as a coach. So hopefully when that our programs are equal in that area, and then it's a great product out on the field. But other than that, being on the other side of town, it was all I knew was they were two schools that were really, really close to each other, and an up-and-coming school in Avon. A lot of people called Avon the next Ben Davis when we were over at Warren Central, and they haven't got to the status of where Ben Davis has been, but I think a lot was accurate. They've had some great years and great runs.
That was the head football coach of the Brownsburg Bulldogs, Coach John Hart. When we return, kickoff is just moments away, and I'll be joined by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne as we get ready for the Brownsburg Bulldogs and the Avon Orioles on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. The Kevin Kersey Insurance Agency of the Farmers Insurance Group helps with home, auto, life, or business needs. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or at their website at www.farmersagent.com/K-Kersey.
Wheels are rolling in September 24th at the Hendricks County 4-H Fairgrounds. This is Lee Brees of WYRZ here to tell you about the second annual WYRZ Open Car Show. This is a fundraiser for WYRZ. Solid gold music and cars of all makes and models are welcome. Registration starts at 10 a.m. and runs till noon. Awards will be handed out at 1:30 p.m., rain or shine. To register your sweet ride early, or if you have any questions, call 317-852-1610 or email shane@wyrz.org.
Welcome back to Bill Estes Field at CF Warwick Stadium as we're getting ready for kickoff between the Brownsburg Bulldogs and the Avon Orioles. Actually going to kick this game off a few minutes earlier than planned, so we're getting ready to kick it off. My name is Brian Scott, and I'll be joined by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne as Brownsburg won the toss, elected to defer. Devin Steinman puts a foot into it. He will kick it out of the end zone, and that's how this football game will begin. The Avon Orioles are dressed in the road white uniforms with the white pants, white jerseys, black numerals with gold trim, and, of course, the black helmets with the Oriole on the side. The Bulldogs are in the white pants with the purple jerseys, white numerals, the purple helmets with the dogs on the side. Avon will move left to right, and welcome to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. 79 degrees at kickoff, a warm, muggy night. Showers and thunderstorms are expected a little later on, but we're going to get this game underway with sunshine, and we'll get this game underway with Avon having the ball at their own 20-yard line on the left hash with a three-wide receiver look. And Cameron Meisner, the quarterback, as he works out of the pistol, drop-back pass on first down. He lofts it up and almost intercepted. He was looking for Isaac Garendo, and over at the left side, Nathan Walden almost picked that ball off. And, Coach, that's how we begin this football game.
Well, this is a special game for both communities and both schools, and the intensity level is going to be real high, and the fact that both teams have gotten off to a good start makes it even more interesting.
So on the second down play, 2nd and 10, gives it to Sampson, and he'll plow up ahead. Samson James, he had a very good game last week as that brought his rushing total on the season up to 158 yards. A very nice game against Hamilton Southeastern. He picks up 6 yards, and it's 3rd down and 4. He'll get the football once again, bobbles it, and then he's going to run straight into the left side.
Looks like a fumble, and Brownsburg may have it. Let's see what the refs say when they come off the pile.
He bobbled the handoff, and yes, they do come away with the football, and coming away with it is the 5'10 senior nose guard, Josh Thompson. He comes away from under the pile, and something that Coach Mark Bless talked about after the Ben Davis game. You can't turn the ball over, and here on the first drive of the football game, Avon has a fumble, and Brownsburg recovers at the Avon 24-yard line, and that means that the offense is going to come out under the leadership of senior quarterback Hunter Johnson. Johnson on the season has thrown for 745 yards, 6 touchdowns. He has been intercepted 3 times. He'll work out of the pistol, and he'll hand the ball off to Carson Gill right up the middle. Gill to the 5 and into the end zone, and that's how this game starts for the Bulldogs. Just a simple inside handoff to Carson Gill, and he rumbles in from 24 yards out.
Well, that's just a basic inside zone play, and, they created a nice opening. I mean, not only did he run in for the touchdown, but he didn't even get touched. So, give credit to the Brownsburg offensive line. Good play call. They picked up the turnover and certainly turned it into points very quickly.
And Devin Steinman on for the point after, as we are not even 30 some odd seconds into this game, 40 seconds, and the kick by Steinman is good, and that is how this football game gets underway. Avon takes the opening kickoff. They go 3 plays, fumble the football, and on the very next play, Brownsburg's Carson Gill scrambles from 24 yards out. And before we can even say, hi, how are you, and what's going on, it is 7-0 in favor of the Brownsburg Bulldogs. Once again, I'm Brian Scott. I'm joined by Dave Shelbourne. A fast start for the Bulldogs. They come in with a perfect 3-0 record to start this season. They're coming off of a win last week. They defeated Franklin 46-30. It was 20-7 at the half, or 30-7, at the half. And things just kind of snowballed there for Brownsburg. Franklin, a little bit of a push in the fourth quarter, but it was when Coach John Hart had all his subs in. Speaking of Coach Hart, of course, this is his first year at the helm of the Brownsburg Bulldogs. A good start to the season, and the Bulldogs find themselves ranked 9th. For head coach Mark Bless, Avon Orioles, they are 2-1, ranked 10th in Class 6A. They had a big win last week against Hamilton Southeastern, winning 31-28. However, this is not the way I'm sure he had expected to start this football game. Here's another deep kick, and that one by Steinman is going to go out the end zone. And once again, the Orioles will find themselves starting 1st and 10 at the 20.
Well, this is where the experienced coaching staff, comes into effect. Coach Bless has been around. He's a great coach. He's done a good job with the program. I'm sure that, he's just over there right now and trying to settle him down. We got a long time to go here in the game. They did move the football the first couple of plays they had the ball, so if they can keep from turning the ball over, they should be fine.
That was Carson Gill's second touchdown of the season. And on 1st and 10, here is Samson James, and he will take a hard hit but get a good 7 yards on 1st and 10. As we quickly give you the Avon Orioles offense. Across the offensive line, the 2 sophomores on the left side, Addison Batten and DJ Bowles. Jack Camp as the center. Ryan Brodnick and Alex Shoemaker on the right side. The split ends are Corey DePriest and Cameron Moulton. The flankers, Isaac Garendo and Luke Shayatovich. The tailback is Samson James, and he has the ball on a run, and he will not get outside. Might pick up a yard at best before he's going to be brought down on a fine tackle. Coming in to make the play again was Nathan Walton. Samson James, that was the ball carrier, and the quarterback, 6'3", 190-pound junior, Cameron Meisner, as the Orioles will have 3rd down and 2 with the ball at their own 28-yard line on the right hash. They will have 3 wideouts, 2 to the short side of the field to the near side, with Meisner working out of the pistol, looking over a 4-man front. He will check the lineup, and now he will wait for the snap. He'll take the snap. He'll give it to James. James gets through the hole, and he will pick up the 1st down before he is once again brought down by Nathan Walton.
Yeah, a little bit of a contrast in styles here with the defenses. The offenses are very similar. They're in a shotgun, they're in a spread with 3 and 4 wide receivers. But defensively, this year, Brownsburg's sitting in a 4-3. They don't blitz much. They don't slant much.
And on 1st and 10, Meisner's pass is blocked, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Isaac McCormick, 6'2", 220-pound senior defensive end, a player that head coach John Hart has said has played very well to begin this season. will give you the Brownsburg defense as they are in that 4-3. Across the front line, Isaac McCormick, Ricky Clark, Josh Thompson, and Antrez Baker, as the Orioles will have 2nd and 10. The give is to James. He will not find much of a hole as he is brought down. And we're pretty much at the point of attack. Looks like Josh Thompson, the nose guard, 5'10", 220-pound senior, brought him down. The linebackers are Josh McKinney, Anthony Ciccarelli, and an appropriate name for a linebacker, Storm Garnett. The corners, Devin Parrott and Jalen Keith. And the safeties, Nathan Walton and Cooper Mrose. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Orioles. Ball at their own 33-yard line. Need to get it up to the 43. Back to pass is Meisner. Here comes pressure. He'll roll. He eludes one tackler. He stops, fires downfield. He has a man wide open, but overthrows his intended receiver, Cameron Moulton.
Well, the offensive line did a great job that time. And, again, I just mentioned on a previous play, Brownsburg is playing a 4-3. They're not blitzing much. It's a little bit of a bend but not break kind of philosophy. And, having that 3rd and 9 is a great situation for them. But the offensive line gave Meisner plenty of time to throw that time. The receiver, when he had the extra time, broke his route and took it upfield. He was open and he was slightly overthrown. And now Avon is forced to punt.
Bryce Kurtz and Eli Johnson back deep for the Bulldogs. They'll stand back at their own 35-yard line. Is out to punt this ball away. Looks like it is going to be, as we get a look here, a different punter. And then they're going to be a fair catch. The ball's going to take a bounce, and it's going to take a Avon bounce. As kicking that football away was Carter Folk. Justin Hydorn. And was still looking off.
Same number. We got 2 kids with number 24.
So it is Justin Hydorn wearing the number 24. And now it is Hunter Johnson bringing the Brownsburg offense back onto the field. And they'll start this drive at their own 40-yard line compared to the last drive where they started it at the Avon 24. Here's Carson Gill. He'll just plow straight ahead, inside handoff, and they'll pick up 7 yards on 1st down.
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned, contrast in style, is Avon's base defense is a 3-3, and they stun a lot. They'll send the linebackers, they'll slant the linemen, and they'll try to create some turnovers.
Once again, here is Gill, and he will plow up and be close to where the 1st down marker is, maybe just shy.
Looks like they're spotting it back.
So spotted at the 49. The nose of the football needs to get just about at the 50-yard line as Johnson will have a 3rd down and short. Hunter Johnson, the 6'3", 200-pound senior, he will be going to Clemson next year, and he will take the snap, give it to Gill, and Gill will find some room over the right side. Needed a yard, picked up about 5, and the Bulldogs are in Orioles territory down to about the 46-yard line. Quickly, let's give you the Brownsburg offense across the front line. Brayton Runyon, Caden Adams, Mark Miller, Matt Runyon, and Trayshawn Britt. The wideouts are Bryce Kurtz, DeQuincy Davis, and Eli Johnson. Will Behrens will be the H-back. Carson Gill, the tailback, and Hunter Johnson is the quarterback as the Bulldogs have 1st and 10. Back to pass. Johnson fires right side. He has Kurtz, and Kurtz has a nice catch as he kind of had to go back behind him to make the catch, but he does make the catch down to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, very, very nice catch. Ball was thrown a little bit behind him, and, he showed the quality of receiver he is, and he's gotten some nice pressure lately, and with that catch, I think he showed everybody why.
So it'll bring up 2nd down, about 3 yards to go. Ball at the Avon, just inside the 40-yard line. It'll be, once again, Carson Gill who will pick his way through the defense, get into the 2nd level, and he'll have a 1st down. And right now the Orioles getting blown off the ball at the line of scrimmage, and Carson Gill is finding some holes.
Yeah, nothing fancy. It's either inside zone or it's a little, guard pull-around power type play, and right now you're right. They're just winning the battle up front.
Here's Gill once again, right inside handoff, and once again a nice pickup of about 4 yards on the play, and he's inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line of Avon.
And at this point I like the play calling. They're successful just running a little basic play, so why get away from it? And right now they're just going to keep hammering away until Avon figures out a way to slow it down.
And for the 4th play in a row, Gill is going to be given the inside handoff. This time he's met by some resistance. As coming in to fill up the hole is Camden Morrell, a 6'3", 180-pound junior linebacker. He's been one of the bright spots for Mark Bless's defense, consistently up there leading the team in tackles week in and week out. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 yards as the Bulldogs move right to left here in this opening quarter of play. Ball right between the hashes. 3 wideouts, 2 to the far side of the formation. Johnson back to pass. Plenty of time now. He rolls to his left. Still looking. He'll bring it down, and he'll be brought down.
First down, no.
But he will have enough for the first down before he is brought down by Seth Lewis, a 6'2", 215-pound senior linebacker. But that's that athleticism that Hunter Johnson gives them, though now they may take a closer look. This may be that spot may need the change to come across.
Yeah, now, and again, it's a guessing game. Both teams, I think, with the 40-second time clock that's been put in effect this year, you see a lot of teams in the no huddle and signaling things in from the sideline. So it kind of speeds up play because you have to with the time limitation. But that time, even though Avon is what I would call a blitzing team, that time they didn't, and you could see that. Hunter had trouble finding an open receiver, but because they were only rushing 4 that time, he was able to break contain and get outside. And, we'll find out here in just a second whether he was able to pick up the first down or not. Looks like he's just a couple inches short.
They stretch the chains, and it is just a couple of change lengths. The old coach's ball eyes right there can tell that just a couple of chain lengths short. And that will bring up 4th down, and the way the Bulldogs have been running the football especially. Coach John Hart not even thinking about bringing a kicking unit. The wind is behind the back of the Bulldogs as they move right to left. Here in this opening quarter, it is a fairly stiff breeze as we take a look at the flags across from us. But they will go for it here on 4th and just a couple of chain lengths, and Hunter Johnson will look like he'll bend under his center, Mark Miller, and likely just try to dive forward. The Orioles stacking the line of scrimmage. They've got...
Although that slot receiver is so wide open, it's unbelievable.
Johnson gets it, fumbles the football on the snap. And it looks like the Orioles have come away with it, and they have.
Ball came up early, so, whether Hunter wasn't ready for it or whether somebody said something on the field, I mean, you could tell from just the reaction, his body language, that he wasn't ready for the snap, and the ball ended up on the ground, and Avon came up with a big play.
So both teams now have committed turnovers after Brownsburg was just marching the football down the field behind Carson Gill. On 4th and short, a center quarterback exchange fumble leads to the Orioles getting the football 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line with 6:31 left to go in the first quarter, trailing by a score of 7-0. Here's Samson James, and he's going to be brought down after a short gain. Looks like Anthony Ciccarelli, the Mike side linebacker, 5'9", 180-pound senior, made the tackle.
Yeah, right now it's a little surprising because, like I said, Brownsburg is playing their 4-3, and because Avon's in the spread with the 3 receivers out to one side, they're actually walking a linebacker out there to help in coverage. So, they've got 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers. They're not stunting. They're not slanting, they're not moving, so the Avon linemen know where they're lined up, but right now they're handling things pretty well.
3 wideouts, 2 to the far side as Avon has 2nd and 9. Meisner back to pass, fires left side, and the pass is incomplete. He has it to Chad Carmichael. Carmichael went down to the ground to catch the football. It'll pick a pickup of about 4. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, just a little in route that actually was pretty well defended. Meisner made a great throw. He threw it exactly where he had to throw it. The defender was right there. It's a good completion for a short gain.
Avon with the ball at the 29-yard line. 3rd down and 5. They're on the far side of the field. 3 wideouts to the near side. Back to pass. Meisner finds his man, and he has a first down, a hard hit. But coming away with the football for the Avon Orioles was Adrian Lozano. That's the first time we've seen him in the game.
First time he's been in all year. He was going to be their starting tight end. He's been injured. Talked to the coaches this week. They're very happy to have him back. He was a backup last year, a real quality performer, and they're happy to have him back. Great read on the last play by Meisner as well. They were in his zone. He found the open man, got enough for the first down.
Here's Samson James looking for some room on the outside. No, it's Corey DePriest is the ball carrier, and DePriest not able to turn the corner. He's going to be dropped for a loss of about a yard. Looking up to make the tackle is Devin Parrott. Quickly giving you the Bulldogs. We gave you the Bulldogs defense. Things have been moving rather quickly here in this opening quarter of play. Brownsburg has a 7-0 lead. They got that off of a Avon turnover. One play later, Carson Gill ran it in from 24 yards out, but now the Orioles have the football after Hunter Johnson fumbled the ball on a center quarterback exchange. 4:30 left to go first quarter, 7-0. Brownsburg with the lead, the Orioles with the football on this 2nd down and 11. Back to pass Meisner, down the middle, looking for Shayatovich. He has him at the 40, all the way down to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, great route, great throw by Meisner. They're in a 2-deep zone. They've got 2 free safeties. The weak spot in that is right in the middle of the field, and Shayatovich did a great job. What you try to do is you try to run right at the safety so he doesn't know whether you're going to run to the corner or run down the middle. He ran that little, what we used to call a little bend route, where he just turned into the middle and Meisner put the ball on the money on time.
1st and 10 at the Bulldogs 30. Here's DePriest. Didn't find any room up the middle. Didn't find any room on the outside because coming in to make a nice tackle was the 5'9", 165-pound junior cornerback Devin Parrott.
And he's done that a lot. It'll be interesting to see. He's actually doing a great job getting off the block by the wide receiver and coming up and stuffing the run. But, you know, anytime a corner plays that aggressively, that sets up a play-action pass as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them fake the sweep here and try to run deep on him soon. But right now he's been very physical on the corner.
Lozano, Shayatovich, and Carmichael, the 3 wide receivers for Avon, out to the left, Moulton to the right. Corey DePriest remains in at tailback on this 2nd down and 10. Bulldogs show blitz. Good protection. Meisner delivers the ball. He has Shayatovich, and Shayatovich will just run it into the end zone for a 30-yard touchdown.
And, you know, and that's one of the problems. That's one of the very few times that Brownsburg did come with a blitz. They brought 6. The Avon offensive line did a terrific job picking it up. You've got man coverage in the secondary. Shayatovich ran that little bend route again. He came down about 5-6 yards and turned it in, and man coverage, he had him beat. Once he made the catch, he turned it upfield and found the end zone. Great play by the offensive line, great throw by Meisner, and nice catch and run by Shayatovich for the touchdown.
Justin Hydorn on for the point after. Left foot is in it, and the left foot is good. We have 3:20 left to go in the opening quarter. We're tied at 7. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg delivers to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Pizza, calzones, breadsticks, and wings are always available. More information can be found on their Facebook page as well as their website, panuni.com. They're located at 1447 East Main in Brownsburg. The phone number is 317-286-3500. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, open till 11 p.m.
Every Saturday at 1 p.m., hear Bob Jenkins with the Hoosier Top 20. Each week, Bob picks a different year and an Indiana radio station, then plays the Survey Top 20 Countdown from that station. And it's only here on WYRZ, underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg. This week, Bob features WNAP from this week in 1969.
We come back, and the Orioles attempt an onside kick, a nicely executed one from Hydorn. Penalty flag on the play. Let's see what the call is. The ball right now spotted at the 46-yard line. It was beyond the 10 yards. We just haven't heard who recovered the football or if the kickoff went out of bounds. They're going to wave off the flag. And evidently it is the Brownsburg Bulldogs that came away with the football. Avon has tied this football game up on a 30-yard touchdown pass from Cameron Meisner to Luke Shayatovich. For Meisner, his 7th touchdown pass of the season. For Shayatovich, his 5th reception from 30 yards out, and we are tied at 7 as Orioles trying to surprise the Bulldogs with the onside kick. Hunter Johnson back to pass on 1st and 10. Deep ball looking long, looking for Kurtz, and Kurtz just simply can't get to it. He was well covered over there. It looked like Carson Nieheiser in coverage for Avon, but the Bulldogs, after the Orioles try to catch them maybe napping a little bit with the onside kick, Coach Hart elects to go deep on 1st and 10. So the ball is at the Bulldog 47-yard line. Again, we are tied up at 7. This time Carson Gill will take the carry, and He'll find a little bit of room over the right side. Only a gain of about 3 to the midfield stripe. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7. Now, last week for Avon fans, they watched Hamilton Southeastern get a big 69-yard gain on 1st and 10 for a touchdown, and then shut down the Southeastern running attack for pretty much most of the game. This time this time Gill only able to gain about 3 yards. It's 3rd down and 7. Back to pass. Johnson fires right side, looking for Kurtz. He has Kurtz. Nice job of going up to get the football. He is brought down immediately there by Nathan Conley.
Yeah, that just can't be defended. Hunter Johnson made a perfect throw on time to a receiver who was open, but just barely. That play was really well defended by Conley. It was just a perfect throw and a perfect catch.
1st and 10 as the Bulldogs now in Oriole territory at the 41-yard line. Ball at the right hash. They'll bring Kurtz in motion. They'll give it to him on the sweep. He'll try to look for some room and might have turned that up a little early. Ran right smack dab into C.J. Hunt, a 6'2", 260-pound senior defensive end for a gain of maybe a couple of yards.
Yeah, Avon did a nice job. I think they might have anticipated the play. One of their outside linebackers got upfield and turned it in. That's why it looked like he turned it up sooner, really, probably, than he wanted to.
And before this play can get going, it was going to be an inside handoff to Carson Gill. The first penalty will be assessed to the Bulldogs on this drive. We had the kickoff evidently out of bounds on the onside kick, and now the Bulldogs have a penalty on the illegal procedure that will drop them back and make this play about 2nd and 13 at the Avon 44-yard line. 1:51 left to go. Opening quarter, fast-moving first quarter here from Brownsburg High School. Alongside Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. 3 wideouts, 2 to the near side. Play action pass. Johnson back to pass. He'll fire down the middle. Has a man at the 28 and down to about the 15-yard line as he hits DeQuincy Davis, a 5'8", 160-pound junior.
He was wide open, and Hunter Johnson hit him in stride. Play action, which I think is the best play in football. They faked the run, bought a little bit more time, zoned him across. He was wide open, hit him in stride.
Ball at the 16-yard line. Here's Carson Gill. He will stutter through the elite defense, gets into the second line of defense, picks up about 13 yards inside the 5, and the Bulldogs will have it 1st and goal at the 3.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job right now mixing things up. You got Hunter Johnson, who's a huge threat, but they're running the football, I think, a lot better than Avon anticipated.
1st and goal from the 3. Here's Gill right up the middle. He is met by a whole host of white-clad Oriole defenders, and if he got back to the line of scrimmage, it'll be just, and it'll bring up 2nd and goal from about the 3.
Right, but down here they can be patient. They're not thinking field goal. They've got 2 downs here at least to go 3 yards, and hopefully they're from their point of view they don't want to have to make a decision on 4th down. They're thinking touchdown all the way.
Under 48 seconds left to go in this first quarter. As Johnson under center, he's looking for Kurtz in the end zone. Nice little corner pass, and he's got the 6 points on the touchdown.
That's like stealing. They're in man. They're playing inside position. I don't know if that was a called play or an audible play, but I can tell you from a quarterback point of view and a receiver point of view, anytime you see that coverage down on the goal line, that's where you're going. He's a very, very talented receiver, and with a quarterback like Hunter Johnson, he put the ball right on the money and, had some time. So a couple of impressive drives here by Brownsburg early in the game.
Devin Steinman on for the point after, puts a right foot into it, puts it up, and puts it through. And with 41.9 seconds remaining in this opening quarter of play, Bulldogs retake the lead 14-7. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Propane Incorporated is located at 375 West Main in Brownsburg. They offer 24/7 all-weather live emergency service as well as online and budget billing for commercial and residential locations. More information can be found by calling Propane Incorporated at 317-852-8916. Hunter Johnson to Bryce Kurtz from 3 yards out, and the Bulldogs retake the lead 14-7 with 41.9 seconds remaining in this first quarter of play. As I mentioned, Hunter Johnson, his 7th touchdown pass of the season, and for Bryce Kurtz, that is his 4th touchdown reception as Steinman getting ready to kick this ball away. Back deep, Brian Fitzgerald and Samson James. So far, Steinman's put it in the end zone each and every kick, and this one will be no different as he puts a right foot into it and gets it into the end zone.
Actually, he's put him out of the end zone. Big, strong leg.
And we heard from Coach Mark Bless. I mean, the first few games we've seen a lot of pooch kicks on kickoffs trying to kick it away, but when Coach Hart has a weapon where he can just simply kick it out of the end zone, he doesn't have to give the Orioles any more than a start at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, well, let's see if Avon can answer the call here. They've moved the ball very well. They've been mixing it up equally as well on the run and the pass. Their offensive line will get it going here a little bit, and we'll see how they respond.
Ball at the left hash, 2 wide receivers to the near side. Back to pass is Meisner. He's looking deep. He has Garendo, and once again overthrows his intended receiver, Isaac Garendo. This is about the 4th game in a row that Coach Bless's offense have tried this, where they've tried to get Meisner and Garendo. Garendo obviously with the speed to get downfield, but Meisner showing off a very strong arm. He overthrows his intended receiver.
But I like the play call. It's first down. You're trying to stretch the defense a little bit if they know they can go deep, and not only did they go deep, but they got behind them. It may back them off the corners and make the running game go a little bit better.
That's 2nd and 10. This is Samson James. Couldn't find anything inside, bounces it outside, but great pursuit coming in to make the tackle. Just a nice open field tackle for the Brownsburg Bulldogs. Looked like it was Anthony Ciccarelli, the middle linebacker. Nice open field tackle, and it limits James to just a gain of a yard. It'll bring up 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and Sampson can run, so the fact that he chased him down like that from behind shows that he's got a little foot speed as well.
That's the final play of this opening quarter of play. We've played 12 minutes, and the Brownsburg Bulldogs lead the Avon Orioles by the score of 14-7. We'll come back. We'll switch ends of the field and bring you second quarter action. This is Kevin Kersey, AGC Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 WYRZ. Crane Credit Union in Plainfield offers loans, savings accounts, as well as online bill pay and banking. They're located at 905 Southfield Drive in Plainfield, and their office hours are Monday through Thursday 9 to 4, Fridays 9 to 6, and Saturdays 9 to noon. More information can be found at cranecu.org, and their phone number is 317-838-8300. Crane Credit Union is a nonprofit bank. Brownsburg Parks is relocating. Information on fall and winter programs and events in Brownsburg can be found at their new office location at 402 East Main Street or at their website at www.brownsburgparks.com.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hi, this is Chuck Taylor from Greatest Hits USA, inviting you to join us this weekend as we answer the following questions. Who didn't show up for his recording session? What singer was discovered in a bathroom at work? And who had the #1 record this week in 1970? Turn it up this weekend for Greatest Hits USA, right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
Greatest Hits USA, Sunday afternoons at 1 o'clock on the Solid Gold voice of Hendricks County, 98.9 FM, WYRZ. We'll flip ends of the field as the Avon Orioles find themselves trailing the Brownsburg Bulldogs by the score of 14-7 alongside the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott, 3rd down and 9 from the 21-yard line as the Orioles now move right to left in this second quarter. Meisner back to pass. He'll roll out to his left, looks downfield, throws it up, looking for Cameron Moulton. Moulton well covered downfield, ends up just throwing this football away, and the Orioles go 3 and out as they'll be forced to punt the ball away. Want to give you a long-deserved station ID. You're listening to 98.9 FM WYRZ LP in Brownsburg. Justin Heidorn back to punt this ball away as once again we will see back deep for Avon. They will have Bryce Kurtz and also Eli Johnson. Heidorn will get a foot, not a very good kick. He gets it off to the side. It'll take an Avon roll and roll into Brownsburg territory at the 46-yard line. So not a good-looking kick, but he eventually gets it into Brownsburg territory, and Hunter Johnson, the offense, will have 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line, moving left to right in quarter number 2. He'll be chucking it into a fairly stiff win.
Brownsburg so far has been impressive the way they've mixed things up. They've run the ball effectively, which is a allowed the play action passing to be effective. Kurtz is a big-time receiver, and with Hunter Johnson putting the ball on the money, Avon's going to have to come up with something here to distract things a little bit.
This is a give to Carson Gill. Finds a hole up the middle. He goes down the right side, and if it wasn't for the quite literal shoestring tackle made by Seth Lewis, Carson Gill might have been down the near sideline and in the end zone. As it is, he will take it all the way down inside the 40 or 35 to the 32-yard line of Avon, where Brownsburg will have it 1st and 10.
Yeah, it's been impressive up to this point how dominant Brownsburg offensive line has been.
This time they will make the handoff, and it's given to Devin Robinson, his first carry of the football game. He'll find some room on the left side, but again, this Brownsburg running attack doing an excellent job. They'll pick up 5 yards on first down and take it inside the 30 to the 27-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs. Johnson will work out of the pistol. He'll give it to Gill. Gill will look for some room. Inside handoff, and again, another touchdown-saving tackle, this one by Brian Fitzgerald. Gill will pick up about 10 yards on the play inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, the way they're handling things up front, not that they can't or don't want to, but there's no reason to throw the football the way they're running with it right now.
Marching down the field, 1st and 10. Play action. Here's Johnson rolling near side. He's got pressure, and he'll just throw this one away. He was looking for his H-back, Will Barons. Good coverage downfield, and pressure forced Johnson to throw that ball away.
Yeah, great coverage, man-to-man. They were bringing some people that time, but they were disciplined enough to keep contained. That's what forced him to throw the ball away, and he very wisely, rather than force it, went ahead and took the incompletion.
3 wides for the Bulldogs, 2 to the left. It is Bryce Kurtz to the near side of the field on the right side. Johnson looks over, gets the signs from the sideline. He'll bring Gill to his left on this 2nd and 10. Back to pass. Johnson fires, looking in the end zone.
Interception.
And it's intercepted. A nice adjustment on the ball, and coming away with the football is Nathan Conley.
Yeah, underthrew that one just a little bit. Sometimes what you do in a goal line situation is you'll purposely underthrow, thinking that the DB is going to have to turn his back when you make the move upfield. But that time, the ball was short. He made a great adjustment to come back and find the football and make the interception and really stop a big drive, because Brownsburg was, moving the football down the field pretty well with the running game.
Well, right now, it may be a question for Coach John Hart. Do you even want to throw the football at this point? Conley's interception in the end zone gives the Orioles the ball at the 20-yard line. Here is Samson James. He will try to drag a couple of Bulldog defenders to at least get back to the line of scrimmage. But whereas the Orioles are having excellent success in their running game, the Orioles are finding it a little tough going.
Well, I'm very impressed right now. Brownsburg is just really basically sitting in a 4-3 defense, and they're not doing anything fancy. But their 4 down people are just pinning their ears back and coming, and their linebackers are attacking the run when they see it.
It'll be 2nd down and 10 as Meisner will hand the ball off. It's a reverse. They've got a man coming. This is Corey DePriest, and DePriest will take it up beyond the 25 to about almost the 28, 29-yard line. The original handoff was to Samson James, but they brought Corey DePriest from a split end position, flipped it as James flipped it to DePriest, and DePriest will be a yard shy of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and 1.
But a good play call, I think, by Eric Moore, who calls the plays for Avon. You'd like to get 4 or 5 yards with a basic running game. They're struggling a little bit. They need a spark. The reverse is a good call to see if they can create that spark and get the running game going.
Here is Samson James, and he will have the 1st down on an inside handoff. Needed to get to the 30, and by the time the pile has stopped moving, James will find himself at the 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Avon Orioles. Clock will be moving with 9:14 left to go in the first half, and the Bulldogs leading the Orioles by the score of 14-7.
Yeah, they're happy to get that 1st down, but what they'd really like to do is establish the line of scrimmage a little bit better and come out here and, I've used the term before, get on schedule. They need to be a 4 and 5 yard 1st down team to set up 2nd and 3rd down, and they haven't been able to do that up until this point.
4 wide outs for the Orioles, 3 of them to the top of the formation. Back to passes, Meisner on 1st and 10. He will lay it out. He has DePriest, And DePriest has the football, but penalty flags all over the place. And quite frankly, this one might go against Avon. We'll see what their officials are.
I'd be shocked if it does. But I've been shocked before.
Let's see what the call was. There was contact between DePriest and the defender, and they will call it against the Brownsburg Bulldogs, and the Orioles will decline the penalty. And so Avon has the ball 1st and 10 at the 30, pushing and shoving.
Well, great. I really think he stumbled a little bit, and that's when he grabbed him. But Corey DePriest did a great job, not only of avoiding the bump, but getting back on his route and making a big-time catch.
Ball at the Bulldogs 30, 4 wideouts, 3 to the right. Avon moving right to left in this second quarter. And James loses the football, and the Bulldogs will get it. And this time James looking at his quarterback. Don't think he quite got that football, and it just bounced off his chest and into the hands for the second time in this football game, Josh Thompson.
Well, that's part of it, but I'll tell you, part of it you have to attribute to the Brownsburg defensive line. They are attacking so hard that they've got people in the backfield where he's making that handoff. And, as much as a running back you want him to, concentrate on getting the handoff and start reading where the hole is. When you've got people in your face that quickly, it is going to take your attention off, getting that basic handoff.
Here is Gill. He'll get a couple of yards. And for head coach Mark Bless, he's getting a little deja vu back to week 2 when Avon faced the Ben Davis Giants, and Avon turned the ball over 6 times in that game.
I see they've got James in at nose man. He's a bigger body. He's a 300-pound kid. They're having trouble holding up inside, and they've subbed probably very wisely with the bigger body to see if they can hold up a little better inside.
Play action pass. Johnson looking for Kurtz. Also had another receiver in the area. He had Bryce Kurtz running the little inside, and then also on the play he had Kyle Strekis actually, and not really sure where he was intending to go with that football. Kurtz couldn't get a hand on it. It'll bring a 3rd and 8.
But this is a great situation here for Avon. They've got the 3rd and 9. They're more than likely going to have to throw. Be interesting to see if they try to handle this with coverage or the blitz. It looks like it'll be a coverage situation. Now they're bringing the middle linebacker.
Johnson fires, has man open on the near side, gets out of bounds at the 43, and that will be enough for a 1st down as Johnson hits DeQuincy Davis, a 5'8", 160-pound junior. He picks up about 7 yards on the play. That's enough for a 1st down at the Bulldog 43-yard line.
Yeah, good play, patient play call, and great job by the receiver knowing exactly what he needed. He only made it by about a foot.
It's 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 43-yard line. Johnson stays in the gun, but he'll swing it out to Gill. Gill will get the ball, and he'll get upended immediately, and then a late flag is going to come for a late hit. Originally, Camden Morrell made the tackle, but then an Oriole came in late, and this one is likely going to add 15 yards after a really nice defensive stop.
Yeah, that's, I almost feel, it was a good call. But for the defender that's chasing like that, it's it is tough to pull up. You have to make the attempt to do it. He obviously did not do that, and that's why the flag was thrown. But it is tough to pull up when you're chasing a play that hard.
And that is a big 15-yard penalty that'll bring the ball into Oriole territory at the 42-yard line. The give is to Gill. This time it is a keeper, though, by Johnson. He eludes a tackle, and he's gone. Boy, he faked out everybody on that play action. Was going to look like he gave the handoff to Carson Gill, but he kept it, ran around the left side. All the Orioles were over on the right side. He had made one man miss, and Hunter Johnson runs it in from 42 yards out. An excellent move, an excellent show of athletic ability and agility by the senior, and a good play call, and it results in a 42-yard touchdown run as Devin Steinman's on for the point after. Steinman puts a right foot into it, and with 7:27 left to go in this first half, Brownsburg extends their lead to 21-7. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Northfield Self-Storage in Brownsburg has a little extra space or a larger space, with storage units ranging from 5x10 to 10x30. They also carry packing supplies such as boxes, tape, bubble wrap, and more. Northfield Self-Storage in U-Haul, located at 1530 West Northfield Drive in Brownsburg, open 7 days a week.
Every Saturday at 1 p.m., hear Bob Jenkins with the Hoosier Top 20. Each week, Bob picks a different year and an Indiana radio station, then plays the survey Top 20 countdown from that station. And it's only here on WYRZ, underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg. This week, Bob features WNAP from this week in 1969.
Hunter Johnson's 42-yard scamper results in another Brownsburg touchdown. They lead the Avon Orioles 21-7 alongside Dave Shelbourne on Brian Scott. Steinman will kick it, and this time he will kick it high, and it'll be taken out of bounds. Actually, it's going to be a kickoff out of bounds, even though it was recovered by an Avon Oriole. Recovering the football was Alex Griffith. He did so out of bounds. And actually now they're going to wave off the flag. So they are going to give the Orioles the football at their own 33-yard line where they'll have it 1st and 10, but now they find themselves trailing by 2 touchdowns with 7:27 left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, up until this point, Brownsburg has been very impressive. Avon has moved the football, but they've been a little bit more inconsistent. Brownsburg offensively has mixed up the run and pass and basically moved the football, at will.
So on 1st and 10, Meisner back to pass. 4 wideouts. He fires it left side. Pass complete. Going up and making an outstanding catch was Corey DePriest at the 50-yard line. He went high. Knew he was going to get upended by Devin Parrott, but concentrated and brought the football down. They'll spot the ball at the Avon 49, but it'll be a first down.
It was a great catch, but, the offensive line gave him plenty of time. That's an out to the left, which is a tough throw for a quarterback, but Meisner put that ball on the money on time.
Ball at the left hash, 3 wide receivers to the top. Firing and making the catch at the Bulldog 44-yard line is Chad Carmichael. He's brought down immediately after he made the catch, and it'll be 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, and again, good call. They're sitting in zone. That's just a little seam route. They've got some zones covered. They put the receiver in the area, and, he just made the throw.
Here's Samson James, and he's not going to get anywhere. He'll be lucky if he gets to the original line of scrimmage before Ricky Clark, a 5'9", 295-pound senior defensive tackle, brings him down. It'll be a loss of a yard back to the 44-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
And this is where Avon is struggling right now. That needs to be a 4- and 5-yard play. They consistently cannot get that right now, and that's forcing them to change up the play calls a little bit from what they came into the game with.
Meisner back to pass through the hands of Shayatovich and picked off. Nathan Walton from his strong safety position. That ball had some mustard on it, went right through the hands of Shayatovich and into the hands of Brownsburg's Nathan Walton. Another Oriole turnover, and Brownsburg has the football.
Not a bad throw by Meisner. I mean, if anything, he might have thrown the ball too hard for the receiver to handle because the ball was on the money. The ball bounced off his hands, went through his hands. Great interception by Walton, who also is a big-time wrestler. If you've never seen him wrestle, you should go see him. He's a great wrestler as well.
So Hunter Johnson, who just ran it in from 42 yards out, his 1st and 10, fires left side. Pass is complete. Nathan Conley there with the tackle, as coming up with the football and a very nice catch was Eli Johnson, 5'11", 160-pound senior. It's a gain of about 7 yards to the 31-yard line of Brownsburg. They'll have a 2nd and about 3. Clock moving. 5:50 left to go first half. Brownsburg, the 9th-ranked team in Class 6A, leading the 10th-ranked team, Avon, 21-7. Ball in the left hash. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the near side. And here's a give to play-action pass. Fake to give to Gill. Looking deep. He's got Kurtz. Throws it up and right in the breadbasket. You could not have dropped that any better into the hands of Bryce Kurtz. And he has a big gain, followed by 2 Avon Orioles, all the way down to the 19-yard line.
Well, you're right. I mean, he just showed why he's a big-time quarterback. That ball was a 50-yard throw, right on the money. Great catch. It was really fairly well covered, and, give some credit to the offensive line. They gave him plenty of time to find his receiver and make that throw.
Carson Gill will have it 1st and 10. He'll find some room around the left side, and he'll pick up about 5 yards. Penalty flag comes in late.
Call probably.
Gunnar Larson, the 6', 210-pound senior defensive end, made the tackle. But this one looks like it'll be moving backwards.
Well, that's a bonus for Avon right now because they're struggling, with coming up for an answer right now because Brownsburg is running the football very well, which sets up the play action. You've got a quality quarterback and receiver and, Hunter Johnson and Kurtz right now. And, right now Avon is struggling to come up with an answer to slow down this offense of Brownsburg's.
That holding penalty put the ball back at the Avon 26-yard line, 1st down about 16. Here's Johnson once again. He's going to be flushed out to his left. He has plenty of room. He'll pull it down. He'll run, and he will pick up about 13, 14 yards on that run and take it down inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line, and it'll be second down and about 3.
Well, and that's what you see out of a veteran quarterback. He's been a 4-year starter here. He was flushed a little bit, didn't have an open receiver. He kept his composure, was able to break contain, took what he could get, ran out of bounds.
This is Carson Gill. He is hit at the line of scrimmage, but still stumbles forward before he is brought down and tackled. Looks like Nicholas Gray, who's come in as a free safety, made the tackle, but it will be about a half-yard short. That'll bring up 3rd and very short for Brownsburg, and this time Johnson will stay in the pistol. He will give to Gill, and Gill will have the 1st down and a couple of yards more, and the Bulldogs will have 1st and goal from the Avon 8-yard line. This time, no fancy bring Hunter Johnson under center. They simply elected to give it to their running back, and he gets the 1st down, and it's 1st and goal for Brownsburg, already up 21-7 with still 4 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in this second quarter. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the near side, ball between the hashes. Here is a give. Gill will make the run right up the middle, pick up 2 or 3 yards before he is brought down, and once again crashing in from his defensive end to make the tackle is Gunnar Larson, but not before Gill gets it to the 5. It'll be 2nd and goal. Same formation, pistol formation. Here's the give to Gill, and this time not going to find a whole lot of running room. Coming in to make the tackle was Camden Morrell. No gain on the play, maybe a half yard at best. 3rd and goal from just inside the 5.
Well, Avon has got more people in there and doing a nice job stopping it. They're going to have to go the outside here, I think, if they're going to try and get it in the end zone. But
3 wides, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Kurtz is to the right. Johnson back to pass. He looks left, fires into the end zone. Pass is complete. It's a touchdown, but a penalty flag on the play. Coming away with the catch is Eli Johnson. Let's see what the penalty is. And evidently it's going to be pass interference is going to be declined. So the touchdown is good. Hunter Johnson to Eli Johnson from about 4 yards out. And once again, Devin Steinman, who has been busy in this first half, on for the point after. The kick is up. The kick is no good. And with 3:51 left to go in this first half, Brownsburg extends their lead over Avon to 27-7. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM, WYRZ. Ivy Tech Community College is a supporter of WYRZ Sports Broadcast. Ivy Tech offers an associate's degree, or students can transfer to a 4-year school and earn a bachelor's degree. You have choices. More information can be found at ivytech.edu or at 888-IVY-LINE. Westside Plumbing Heating and Air offers residential heating and air conditioning maintenance, repair, and replacement, and serve all of Hendricks County and West Indianapolis. Their phone number is 317-445-8399. More information can be found at westsideplumbing.net and their Facebook page by searching for Westside Plumbing. Hunter Johnson finds Eli Johnson from 4 yards out in the end zone. Pass interference penalty declined, and it's now 27-7 after the point after was no good. This kick is going to be returned. Here's Brian Fitzgerald from the 10, to the 35, to the 40, stiff arm, to the 40, to the 30, has a blocker, into the 20, down to the 15, still running, inside the 5, and finally brought down as he just made his way through a whole host of purple-clad Bulldogs, gave a big stiff arm at about the 48-yard line of Avon, and he's finally brought down at the 4-yard line. Is coming in to make the tackle for the Bulldogs was Rice Thomas, but the Avon Orioles have it first and goal from the 4. So Fitzgerald with a big run. That run will cover about 90-some-odd yards. And it's first and goal from the 4-yard line. So Avon down 27-7, but they could get some big points back right here. Here's Samson James looking for some room. He's going to cut the corner, and he is going to be met. He's not going to get into the end zone. He's going to gain just a couple of yards, get it down to the 2 before he's brought down by Cooper Morose, and it'll be second and goal from about the 2. Actually, they'll spot the ball at the 1-yard line, so a yard away from pay dirt for Avon as the clock continues to tick with 3:07 left to go first half. 27-7 is our score. Brian Fitzgerald with a long run back to put it first and goal for Avon. And Meisner will look over that 4-3 defense. He's got James as a tailback. He'll give it to James. He'll plow forward, but he won't get maybe much more than a half a yard at best as he was met at the point of attack and brought down by several Bulldogs.
Well, big play. I mean, Avon, again, I mentioned earlier when they ran in reverse, they need a spark. They're having trouble right now with their offensive consistency. You know, you can see why Fitzgerald is a big-time player, why he's headed to the Big Ten. You know, Avon's got their back to the wall. They're down by 3 touchdowns here, and this kickoff hopefully will bring them back. If they can get a touchdown here, they can go in at halftime and, you know, make some adjustments, come up with an answer to see if they can slow down the Brownsburg defense the second half. But getting a touchdown here is really important for morale and, you know, for the mental end of things. If they have to come away with a field goal, they'll certainly take it. You got to put some points on the board, but a touchdown would, you know, put them within striking distance and give them a little spark here right before half.
Head coach Mark Bless of the Avon Orioles let the play clock drive down to 1 second and then called the first of his 3 timeouts as the Orioles will have it third and goal from the 1-yard line, trailing 27-7 with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in this first half of play. Alongside Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Bulldogs and the Orioles. And at the half, we'll talk about what the standings look like in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, as well as where some of the other teams are playing as far as Hendricks County schools are involved. Third and goal from the 1, ball on the right hash. 2 wideouts, 1 to each side. Samson James to the left of Cameron Meisner. They have Lozano as an H-back right. The give is to James. He will plow ahead, he's into the end zone for the touchdown. Samson James from 1 yard out.
That time the Avon offensive line just pinned their ears back, came off the ball. He didn't even get hit until he was in the end zone. Ran hard. I'm not too sure they could have stopped him anyway. But, you know, again, this is what Avon had to have. You know, I'm sure Coach Bless and the staff will go in and, you know, fix the things that need to be fixed. Brownsburg has kind of showed them their game plan so they know what they need to stop. And, you know, they've got an opportunity here. Big spark before halftime. Obviously, there's 2 minutes left in the half. They've got to make sure that Brownsburg doesn't come back and put more points up on the board. But, you know, if they can go in 27-14 at half with the way Brownsburg has performed here the first half, they can fix things and come out of the second half and have a good chance to get back in this game.
Justin Heidorn's point after was good. So 2:07 remains on the clock here in this first half, and now Avon finds themselves trailing 27-14. This has been a big game on turnovers and big plays. Brian Fitzgerald with the 90-some-odd yard kickoff return. They got the Orioles inside the 5-yard line. We've seen Hunter Johnson with a 40-plus yard touchdown run and big plays on both sides, turnovers on both sides right now. That is the difference in this football game is the Orioles will be kicking it off with 2:07 left to go in the first half. The Bulldogs will be receiving the second half kickoff as Heidorn gets ready to kick this one away. And he will kick it deep, and Kurtz will get it in the field of play, retreat to the end zone, and then slip at the 13-yard line. And that is where Brownsburg, with their worst field position really of the night, will take over. They'll spot the ball at the 14. And Hunter Johnson and the Bulldog offense will return to the field, leading 27-14 with 2:03 left to go in the first half.
It'd be interesting to see how Coach Hart decides to handle this situation. They're up by 2 scores, but at the same time, Avon really hasn't slowed them down yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they work on their 2-minute offense and try to go up top and see if they can come up with another score or if they sit on it a little bit.
Play action. Johnson looks, fires down the middle, pass in and out of the hands. He had Bryce Kurtz and just went right out of his hands, in and out of his hands at about the 30-yard line, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it was pretty well defended. Tough to tell if if he didn't get a hand on it. Number 32 for Avon was running with him, but again, Hunter had plenty of time. It was a little play action pass, but he's got plenty of time to find his receivers.
Alex Griffith, the man in coverage, 2nd and 10. Johnson will give it off to Gill. Gill will get into the second line of defense, and Carson Gill, who has been running strong all night long, picked up about 10 yards. He'll be close to the first down marker as they unpile. We are under 1:48 left to go here in the first half. They're going to spot him at the 23-yard line, so he's a yard short. Here's 3rd down and 1. This could be a big play for the Oriole defense. We'll see if the Bulldogs let this clock wind down.
I don't think they're going to do that. If they can get the first down, I think they're going to keep going for it.
Here's Gill. He's got the first down. Gunnar Larson makes the tackle, but not before Gill takes it to the 25-yard line, where the Bulldogs will have 1st and 10. Clock stops as they move the chains. At 1:26 is the clock.
I was always a believer here that, you just don't throw the ball deep. I always like trying to hit a receiver in motion, and they're running the crossing routes and trying to hit their receivers in stride.
This time we have a man in getting a little early start on the line of scrimmage was the split end. I believe that's Kyle Strakis. Got a little bit of an early start that's going to pin the Bulldogs back 5 yards with the clock showing 1:14 left to go in the first half. 27-14, that's our score. Bulldogs in possession of the lead and the football. This will spot the ball back at around the 21-yard line. They'll make it 1st and 15. 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side of the formation. Carson Gill behind Hunter Johnson working out of the pistol. Looking over a 3-down front of the Avon Orioles as the clock runs. We're under a minute left to go in the first half. Johnson gives it to Gill. He will pick up a yard or 2 before he has finally popped and brought down. Coming in, I believe, to make the tackle once again was Alex Griffith, the middle linebacker, as we go to under 45 seconds left to go in the half.
Looks like they're going to be content at this point just to kind of sit on the lead and, take that 13-point lead in at halftime.
Difference of about 6 seconds from the play clock and the game clock, so they will have to run a play, and likely they will just hand the ball to Carson Gill, who has been a danger to pop one. He's definitely gotten to the second line, but actually Johnson's going to go back to pass. He's looking deep. He has a man, and it's not broken up. A excellent play over there on that far sideline. Sammy Bullock had the receiver stride for stride and managed to get a hand in there, because if he doesn't, it's a 6 points for Brownsburg.
Yeah, that's a long way in the air. That's a 50-yarder at least in the air, and it was a pretty well thrown ball, but just slightly behind and very, very well defended. But they decided to go for broke. Who knows? 3rd down, maybe they'll do it again.
Eli Johnson, the intended receiver. 12.8 seconds remain. 3rd down and 11, but the give is to Carson Gill. He'll look for some rhyme on the near side. He gets the corner to the 30, to the 35, to the 40 before he's finally upended by Carson Nieheiser. But he has the first down up beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line. 5.5 seconds left, and I can't imagine Coach Hart's going to do anything with this. As they set the ball, they'll wind the clock, and this is going to go down to triple zeros as it does, and That's the end of the first half. The Brownsburg Bulldogs, they've been the beneficiary of big plays, big turnovers, and right now they have a 27-14 lead as the teams go to the locker room at the end of the first half. Stay tuned. Halftime's coming up. We are going to take a look at what other action is occurring in Hendricks County, take a look at the standings involving those Hendricks County schools, who's playing where, and all that when we come back. It's halftime at the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week here on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Since 1968, the Kersey family has been helping customers with insurance needs. They have insurance coverage for homes, autos, and recreational vehicles. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or their website at www.farmersagent.com/K Kersey. The Kevin Kersey Agency is a member of the Farmers Insurance Group. Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg delivers to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Pizza, calzones, breadsticks, and wings are always available. More information can be found on their Facebook page as well as their website, panuni.com. They're located at 1447 East Main in Brownsburg. The phone number is 317-286-3500. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, open till 11 p.m. Join me, Brian Scott, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 98.9 FM WYRZ for the Morning Drive. A little news, traffic, sports, WYRZ meteorologist Paul Poteet's weather forecast, and a whole lot of great upbeat music to get your day started off on the right foot. It's the Morning Drive, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on the solid gold voice of Hendricks County, 98.9 FM WYRZ. Anderson Chiropractic is located at 7390 Business Center Drive in Avon. They handle sports injuries, whiplash injuries, as well as sciatic pain. Same-day appointments are welcome. More information can be found at www.avonspinedocs.com or by calling 317-272-7000. State Farm agent Pete Fay is located at 431 East Northfield Drive in Brownsburg. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. More information about life, auto, and home insurance can be found by calling 317-852-9780. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall inviting you to join me every weeknight at 7 o'clock for Central Indiana Today. Join me as I interview an elected or appointed official or newsmaker in the area. Whether it's Donald Trump,
You're terrific. I wish I could have every interview just like this. Okay, that would be a great dream.
Senator Dan Coates,
wish you nothing but the best of success, and I'll look forward to being on the show in the future.
Senator Joe Donnelly,
love to be back on with you again next month too. This would be fun.
Or Governor Mike Pence.
Hey, great to be here.
The difference makers in Central Indiana are on Central Indiana Today. Weeknights at 7 on 98.9 WYRZ.
It's halftime at Brownsburg High School, where the 9th-ranked Brownsburg Bulldogs lead the 10th-ranked Avon Orioles by the score of 27-14. I'm Brian Scott. This is Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. And also, you are listening to it on 98.9 FM WYRZ LP in Brownsburg. Let's take a look at what's happening involving some of the Hendricks County schools tonight. Big rivalry week throughout most of Indiana here for high school football. Of course, the Bulldogs and the Orioles here in Brownsburg. Plainfield, they're ranked 9th in Class 5A, and they're taking on number 2 in 4A Ron Colley. It's homecoming at Plainfield tonight. Another big rivalry battle tonight is in Danville as the surprising Danville Warriors, 2-1 to begin the season. They'll take on the Tri-West Bruins, ranked 12th in Class 3A. And finally, the Cascade Cadets are at Cloverdale. Both of those teams are at 1-2 to begin the season. As we take a look at action around the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, games from last week, Of course, the Avon Orioles knocked off Hamilton Southeastern in a big game, 31-28, while Brownsburg was the only non-con game of the Hoosier Crossroads Conference schedule, as the Bulldogs were in Franklin, and they won 46-30. One of the surprises of the night, Noblesville, they beat Fishers by the score of 28-21, while Westfield, they beat up on Zionsville by the score of 48-8. Games that are taking place this week, besides the game we are at here in Brownsburg. Rebuff is at Zionsville. Fishers is at Hamilton Southeastern, where they are leading at the half 13-7, as Hamilton Southeastern is having their own problems with turnovers. They have had 4 turnovers tonight, and they've also had a pick 6 against them in that football game. So right now, Fishers with the lead against Hamilton Southeastern. That's a battle for the Mudsock. And finally, Westfield is at Noblesville. Next week, Avon will be the non-com game of the week. They will be at Whiteland. Brownsburg will be at Fishers. Hamilton Southeastern is at Westfield, and Noblesville is at Zionsville. As we take a look at the Hoosier Crossroads Conference standings, only 3 teams coming into this week had played conference games naturally. Westfield, Avon, and Noblesville all with wins. Fishers, Hamilton Southeastern, and Zionsville all with losses. And Brownsburg, of course, did not play a conference game last week. Right now at the top of all standings as far as wins, we take a look at Westfield and Brownsburg. Of course, Brownsburg came in 3-0, but the Shamrocks 3-0, and they are simply demolishing teams on both sides of the ball. They are just in second place in points scored in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and they lead all HCC teams in points defense. So Westfield 3-0, and then that's followed by Avon, Fishers, Hamilton Southeastern is Zionsville, all at 2-1, and Noblesville is at 1-2. Taking a look at the Mid-State Conference, last week we saw the Plainfield Quakers defeat Mooresville 38-14. Greenwood over Martinsville 41-10. Decatur Central beat Whiteland 49-34. That is, Avon has the Whiteland Warriors coming up next week. And then Decatur Central beat Whiteland, and of course Brownsburg beat Franklin. This week, Decatur Central is at Martinsville, Franklin at Whiteland, Greenwood at Mooresville, and Roncalli is at Plainfield. Next week, Avon will play the Whiteland Warriors. Martinsville is at Franklin, Mooresville at Decatur Central, and Plainfield will be at Greenwood. Taking a look at the Mid-State standings, we see that the Plainfield Quakers are currently one of 3 teams with perfect 1-0 records in the conference, much like the HCC. We've got a 7-team conference. Plainfield, Decatur Central, and Greenwood all at 1-0. Martinsville, Mooresville, and Whiteland at 0-1. And Franklin is yet to play a conference game. When we take a look at the Mid-State standings, Greenwood at the top, 3-0 on the season, followed by Decatur Central and Plainfield at 2-1. And then the rest of the conference, well, everybody else is at 0-3 at Franklin, Martinsville, Mooresville, and Whiteland. A look at the Sagamore Conference, where the Tri-West Bruins and the Danville Warriors, they are playing tonight in Danville. Last week, Tri-West, they shut out Frankfort 28-0. Danville, they fell to Lebanon 28-21. It was Southmont 41, North Montgomery 31. And Crawfordsville defeated Western Boone in a tight one, 28-27. This week, Crawfordsville is at Frankfort, Lebanon at North Montgomery, Southmont at Western Boone, and Tri-West is, of course, at Danville. Next week, Frankfort will be at Lebanon. North Montgomery will travel to Danville to take on the Warriors. Southmont is at Crawfordsville. And another rivalry game for the Bruins. They will take on the Webo Stars in a game that will kick off at 7 o'clock. In the Sagamore Conference, 8 teams, 4 teams at 1-0 in the conference, 4 teams 0-1. Lebanon, Tri-West, Crawfordsville, and Southmont all at 1-0. Danville, North Montgomery, Western Boone, and Frankfort at 0-1. And nobody really running away with the Sagamore. We have 5 teams with 2-1 records: Lebanon, Tri-West, Danville, North Montgomery, and Western Boone. Everybody else is at 1-2, Crawfordsville, Southmont, and Frankfort. And finally, we take a look at the Western Indiana Conference. Cascade is 1-0 in conference play. They picked up their first win of the season in conference play when they knocked off Brown County last week, 21-6. Other than Western Indiana scores last week saw Cloverdale defeat Edgewood in a tight one, 20-18. Greencastle 30, West Vigo 27. Indian Creek over Owen Valley 13-7. North Putnam over South Putnam 40-19. Sullivan defeated Northview 35-12. This week Indian Creek hosts Brown County. Cascade is at Cloverdale, as we mentioned earlier. North Putnam at Sullivan. Northview at West Vigo. Owen Valley at Edgewood. And South Putnam is at Greencastle. Next week, Cascade will host Greencastle. As we take a look at the standings, Western Indiana Conference actually has 2 divisions, an East and a West, 6 teams in each. Cascade, they hold up in the Eastern Conference. They're 1-2 on the year, but right now they are at the top of the Eastern Division as they have a 1-0 conference record, along with Cloverdale and Indian Creek. Brown County, Edgewood, and Owen Valley 0-1 in the Eastern Division. Over in the Western Division, Greencastle, North Putnam, and Sullivan all 1-0 on the season, with South Putnam, West Vigo, and Northview all 0-1. So that's a quick look at scores involving Hendricks County schools. We mentioned Fisher's leading Hamilton Southeastern 13-7 at the half. Other HCC action, Noblesville and Westfield, they are tied 7-7 at the half. Ron Colley, they haven't scored a point yet, and they are playing the Plainfield Quakers, who have also not scored a point yet. So that game is at the half scoreless, and we saw earlier that Center Grove right now, I believe they are beating Ben Davis by this is, I believe, 13-7. So that's really the other big matchup in Central Indiana tonight. When we come back, I'm going to have the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne with me. We're going to take a look at a review of what we saw here in the first half, what needs to be done if you're an Avon Oriole fan, and what do you need to keep on doing if you are a Brownsburg Bulldog fan. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ.
Wheels are rolling in September 24th at the Hendricks County 4-H Fairgrounds. This is Lee Brees of WYRZ here to tell you about the second annual WYRZ Open Car Show. This is a fundraiser for WYRZ. Solid gold music and cars of all makes and models are welcome. Registration starts at 10 a.m. and runs till noon. Awards will be handed out at 1:30 p.m., rain or shine. To register your sweet ride early, or if you have any questions, call 317-852-1610 or email shane@wyrz.org.
Propane Incorporated is located at 375 West Main in Brownsburg. They offer 24/7 all-weather live emergency service, as well as online and budget billing for commercial and residential locations. More information can be found by calling Propane Incorporated at 317-852-8916. The Kevin Kersey Insurance Agency of the Farmers Insurance Group helps with home, auto, life, or business needs. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or at their website at www.farmersagent.com/KKersey. Ivy Tech Community College is a supporter of WYRZ Sports Broadcast. Ivy Tech offers an associate's degree, or students can transfer to a 4-year school and earn a bachelor's degree. You have choices. More information can be found at ivytech.edu or at 888-IVY-LINE.
More flashback party sounds and your radio sure feels better. It's party time.
This week on the Flashback Party, we'll be playing what I think were the worst #1 songs of all time. Just my opinion. You may disagree. Find out this week on the Flashback Party.
Flashback Party with Bob Jenkins, underwritten by Brooknoll Village in Avon, right here on WYRZ.
Welcome back to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week halftime at CF Works Stadium. Bill Estes Field, and the 9th-ranked Brownsburg Bulldogs lead the 10th-ranked Avon Orioles by the score of 27-14. I'm Brian Scott. I'm joined by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. Coach, this, as I mentioned a little earlier, if you are Avon head football coach Mark Bless, a little bit of deja vu going back to week 2 with Ben Davis. A whole lot of turnovers and not a whole lot of answers for his opponent's running attack tonight.
Well, Avon really hasn't played badly. Brownsburg has just really been outstanding. I mean, Brownsburg put together one of the more impressive halves of football I think, on both sides of the ball that I've seen in quite a while. I mean, other than the Fitzgerald run at the end of the half. I mean, this is a 3-touchdown game, and he's an outstanding player, and he's done that against a lot of people. But I've really been impressed with Brownsburg's defense. Again, I mentioned they're just really playing a pretty straight 4-3, and zone coverage, and they're in that bend but not break philosophy, and they have slowed down Avon to the point where they're struggling a little bit on first down, which puts them behind schedule. And then you've got to come up with the big pass or the big run. And Avon has moved the football at times in the first half, but just not consistently. On the other hand, Brownsburg pretty much has moved the football at will. And I don't know what the stats look like right now, but I've really been impressed with their offensive line. They've done a great job running the football, and it's not like they've done it with a lot of trickery. It's just inside zone and a little, the little power play with the guard pull around, kind of leading the running back up in there. The backs are running hard. Obviously, the threat of the pass with Hunter Johnson, throwing the football at quarterback, and Kurtz as a wide receiver is always a threat, but they have run the football effectively, and I think for me and probably for most of the crowd here tonight, that for me has been the biggest surprise. The fact that Hunter Johnson's put together a first half is not a surprise. Kurtz has been everything for me, at least the first half. I've read some nice articles about him. Obviously, he comes from an athletic family, and it looks like his older brother didn't get all the athletic ability, because this young man certainly has a bunch. And he's been impressive the first half, but the impressive thing to me for Brownsburg has been their consistency and mixing things up. But their offensive line has just really, to me, really been a big surprise. They've really handled Avon's defensive front better than I anticipated, even with some of the movement and stunts that they do up front. And I think for Avon, they just need to settle down. First down is a really important down for them, and they've got to figure out a way to slow down the Brownsburg offense. They can get back in this game, but they can't get back in this game if they continue to allow Brownsburg to handle things up front and run the football the way they've thrown. And that again allows Hunter Johnson and his receivers to come up with the big plays, which they've done time after time here in the first half.
Hunter Johnson has had an interception. We've seen him fumble on a 4th and 1 when it looked like this game could really be a bigger deficit for the Avon Orioles. But on 4th and 1, a bad exchange on a center quarterback snap. That led to a fumble. That led to Avon stopping and halting, at the time, a very impressive Brownsburg drive. But it's been fumbles and turnovers by Avon. That has led to some short field distances. But both teams, they've had a little bit of a problem with the turnovers, but it's also been big plays. One of the big ones, a Hunter Johnson 42-yard scamper on a nice little misdirection play, had everybody chasing to the near side. Johnson pulled it out. He ran around the left side, and he wasn't really touched until he got into the end zone. But then it was Brian Fitzgerald kickoff return. It was well over some 90 yards. That gave the Orioles, first and goal inside the 5. They managed to put it in, and that's where we are right now at the half. Avon trailing 27-14, and they've got some work still to do. Brownsburg will have the ball, or they will be receiving the opening kickoff. We already saw Avon attempt an onside kick earlier in this contest. Both teams back out on the field, or I should say Brownsburg currently out on the field, and head coach Mark Bless. It's been a long halftime, a 20-minute halftime here at Brownsburg. The Bulldogs are out on the field with Coach John Hart. Meanwhile, Avon, they are still getting some instructions over there in the locker room, and I'm sure Coach Bless, once again, preaching intensity and also preaching keep a hold of the football, and we'll see how things turn out here in the second half. We're going to take a timeout, come back. Second half kickoff is on the way. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week, 98.9 FM, WYRC. Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg delivers to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Pizza, calzones, breadsticks, and wings are always available. More information can be found on their Facebook page as well as their website, panuni.com. They're located at 1447 East Main in Brownsburg. The phone number is 317-286-3500. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, open till 11 p.m. Crane Credit Union in Plainfield offers loans, savings accounts, as well as online bill pay and banking. They're located at 905 Southfield Drive in Plainfield, and their office hours are Monday through Thursday 9 to 4, Fridays 9 to 6, and Saturdays 9 to noon. More information can be found at cranecu.org, and their phone number is 317-838-8300. Crane Credit Union is a nonprofit bank. Propane Incorporated is located at 375 West Main in Brownsburg. They offer 24/7 all-weather live emergency service as well as online and budget billing for commercial and residential locations. More information can be found by calling Propane Incorporated at 317-852-8916.
Kurt David checking in, and join me after the game tonight for Taking You Back, playing the best of the 80s, right here on 98.9 FM, WYRZ.
Back at Rourke Stadium, Bill Estes Field at Brownsburg High School, as the Avon Orioles have now made it onto the field to begin their second half warm-ups. Bulldogs been out of here for a little while now, so I'm sure they are well rested, but Orioles have just made it out after a very, very long halftime talk by head coach Mark Blest and that Oriole coaching staff. The Bulldogs won the toss, elected to defer, so they will have the ball to begin the second half. It is getting quite a bit more muggy as we are here at Brownsburg High School, and a night that we've been expecting possibly some storms to come this way. And right now, as we take a look at National Weather Service radar, a lot of stuff still mainly to the north and west of the Indianapolis metro area, though there are some storms in the Terre Haute region that are making their way this way. So hopefully we can get this football game in before they arrive. I believe tornado watches are now in effect for the northern portion of Indiana. In fact, do see several tornado warnings. So if you are here in Hendricks County, make sure you keep it tuned to 98.9 FM WYRZ. If there are any severe weather watches or warnings issued for Hendricks County, you'll be the first to know about it. We'd like to thank Hendricks Regional Health for providing the emergency alert system that is used at 98.9 FM WYRZ. WYRZ meteorologist Paul Poteet can be heard at least once an hour each and every weekday between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And also, as he has said tonight, showers and thunderstorms were in the forecast. So hopefully we can get this football game in. It was a pretty fast-moving first half, and now Avon has concluded their warm-ups. They're heading toward the sidelines, and we're about ready to get this second half underway with the 10th-ranked Orioles behind the 9th-ranked Brownsburg Bulldogs by the score 27-14. It has really been, as Coach Shelbourne mentioned, a very, very impressive performance by the Bulldogs, both offensively and defensively. A few turnovers by the Bulldogs, several by the Orioles. And right now, Avon's still looking for some type of offensive consistency. They've gotten some nice runs out of Samson James, and we have seen a few nice passes from Cameron Meisner, but it's really been Hunter Johnson, Carson Gill, and that Bulldog offense that, with maybe a few of exceptions of turning the ball over themselves, this could be a much, much bigger deficit that the Orioles would be facing here at the half instead of being down 27-14.
The touchdown by Avon at the half gave them life, though. I mean, at that point it was 20. Brownsburg was up by 3 scores and moving the ball, as we mentioned, pretty much up and down the field whenever they wanted to, and it was not looking good. And that kickoff return, and again, that's why Fitz is the quality player that he is, and why he's got so many opportunities to go where he wants to go to school, and why he's chosen to go to Indiana University, because he's certainly a big time player. And that play alone is given them new hope. And if they can come out here the third quarter and get some things fixed. They've got to slow down this Brownsburg offense, and they've got to figure out a way to consistently move the ball on offense themselves. And, they've got an opportunity to turn this game around.
Eli Johnson and Bryce Kurtz will drop back deep as Justin Hydorn gets ready to kick this ball away. The visiting Avon Orioles in the white pants, white jerseys, black numerals, gold trim, black helmets with the Oriole on the side. And the Bulldogs in the white pants, purple jerseys, white numerals, purple helmets with the word dogs on the side. Brownsburg will be moving right to left as we get third quarter action underway. As Hydorn puts a left foot into it, he'll kick it deep. And Kurtz will let it bounce, and it will bounce out of bounds. And that penalty will give the Brownsburg Bulldogs good field position to begin the second half. As Hunter Johnson, he had an outstanding first half of action. He'll lead the offense back out onto the field, and he will do so with pretty good field position after the kickoff out of bounds. Wind is going to be at Johnson's back. It has not been a particularly stiff wind, but the flags, as you are listening to the action tonight on 98.9 WYRZ, they are moving right to left as the field does, and that is the direction that the Bulldogs are moving in as they'll have it 1st and 10. Ball at their own 35-yard line in the first play of the third quarter, and the Bulldogs with a 27-14 lead. And they'll start with a 4-wide out look, but it is the familiar number 5 of Carson Gill that gets the ball, and he'll get a couple of yards and not much more on 1st and 10 and take it up to the 37-yard line and make it 2nd and 8. 4 wide outs, 2 to each side of the formation. Gill, the tailback, he will be to the left of Johnson as the ball is in between the hashes, looking over a 3-down front. Johnson takes a snap, quick fires right side, pass is complete, and the pass is complete over to the left side to DeQuincy Davis. And DeVavis is going to be about a yard shy, it looks like, of a first down, maybe a yard and a half as they'll spot the ball just beyond the 43.
Yeah, still playing the guessing game. I mean, here they were with a run on first down, the pass on second down. Now this is where you want to be as an offense. You want to be in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and that's where Brownsburg has been most of the night. Part of that has been because they have mixed things up.
So 3rd and about 2, but the give is to Gill, and this is going to be close. Second effort may have got him the first down, and where the line judge is pointing, he did just get the football over the 45-yard line, and it will be 1st and 10 for Brownsburg. So 3 plays, first down, and the Bulldogs once again line up with 3 wideouts, 2 to the near side of the formation as Johnson goes back to pass, fires right side, pass incomplete. He was looking for Eli Johnson. Good coverage over there by the Avon Orioles' Sammy Bullock.
Yeah, very, very well defended. Really not a badly thrown ball. Again, protection was pretty good. Just good defense by the Avon corner.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Johnson and the Bulldogs. 4 wideouts, 3 to the left. That's the near side of the field, but the wide side of the field. Long look over to the sideline is Johnson. Play clock, plenty left. As Johnson will take the snap, quick fires right side, pass is complete. This is Eli Johnson. He eludes the defender, and he'll dive forward. He'll still be shy of the first down, but he initially was going to be about 4 yards shy. He lunged forward, and now it'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're audible in some of this because the corner on that side backed off a little bit, and they just immediately went to the little hitch route.
Again, 4 wideouts, but this is Johnson keeping it himself. He'll go left side. He'll take it over Caden Adams and Brayton Runyon, and he will have the first down at the Orioles' 44-yard line. So an impressive drive to begin the second half by Brownsburg, already up 27-14. And in Oriole territory with 1st and 10. 3 wideouts, H-back left, but the give is to Carson Gill. He'll find a little bit of room, not a whole lot, before he is brought down. Once again in there to make the tackle is Camden Morrell to limit Gill to a gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. They'll leave 3 wideouts to the wide side of the field, which is to the left, will the Bulldogs. 1 to the right. They'll bring Kurtz in motion, or Johnson in motion, back to pass. Hunter Johnson, he'll fire deep. He's looking for Kurtz, and it's just over the outstretched hands of Bryce Kurtz. Ian Pendleton in coverage. He was running step for step But that ball overthrown by Hunter Johnson, and it will bring up third down at about 9. Ball will be at the Avon 43-yard line on this third down play. Clock stops at 9:31 left to go third quarter. This is the opening drive of the second half. 4 wideouts, 2 to each side. Johnson back to pass. He will set up the screen. He has the screen to Gill at the 40, and he'll dive across the 35, and he's going to be shy of the first down marker by about a yard. Knee came down at the 35-yard line, needed to get to the 34 for the first down.
Yeah, it looked like he just fell, and a great call at a great time. Avon blitzed. They had that very well set up. He probably should have gotten the first down.
Here it is, fourth and 1, I should say. Johnson dives forward, and if it's where this side judge spotted, he didn't get it.
He didn't make it, yeah. I'm not sure, and again, I'm not sure he spotted it correctly, but that's what he saw.
And they will not even give him benefit of a measurement. The Orioles defense holds, and an impressive drive by the Brownsburg Bulldogs stalls out, and Avon territory as the Avon Oriole defense stiffens up, and they'll take over on downs, 1st and 10, at just inside their 35-yard line. So what looked like a very impressive drive by Brownsburg to open up the second half is stalled out, and now Avon has their first possession of the second half, trailing 27-14 with 8:58 left to go in the third quarter. Ball at the 35-yard line.
Very important for Avon to get a good drive here and to get a little momentum back on their side.
There is a give, and that give, I believe, is to one Bryant Fitzgerald, and he is now in at tailback for the Orioles, and Fitz will pick up 4 yards up to the 39-yard line. Well, it'll be second down and about 6.
But that's what they need. I mentioned multiple times, in the first half and at halftime, they need to be 4 and 5 yards on first down in order to run their offense, and that's exactly what Fitz got them on first down.
Here's Fitzgerald again. He'll look for some room, but that was excellent defense. They blew it up on the right side. Excellent penetration. That's where Fitzgerald wanted to run, but he had nowhere to go because 4 yards into the backfield for the Brownsburg Bulldogs was Isaac McCormick, and that forced Fitzgerald back 4 yards. They're back to the original line of scrimmage of the 35-yard line, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, this is exactly where you don't want to be. 3rd and 10 is a tough situation. They're already down 2 scores. They're going to have to put the ball up here, and you have to be careful handling the football.
4 wides, 3 to the near side. Miser fires behind a wide-open Luke Shayatovich at the 47-yard line. Shayatovich, no Bulldog within about 4 or 5 yards around him, but the ball thrown to the outside of Shayatovich. He can't come up with it, and that's going to bring up a punting situation for the Orioles.
Yeah, which is exactly what they didn't want. Right now the clock is not a factor, but if they are 2 touchdowns down, they're going to have to put something together here soon. And it looks like they're still struggling with, what they can be successful with offensively.
Mason Stemler to punt this ball away. He'll get it off. A spinning, wobbly kick that is fair caught at the 41-yard line by Bryce Kirks. And now the Brownsburg offense will return to the field after their defense holds the Orioles, to 3 and out. 7:48 remains in this third quarter. Brownsburg with a 27-14 lead alongside Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. Brownsburg and Avon, the rivalry renewed. This has been decidedly Avon's series the past 3 or 4 years, but Brownsburg with the lead. Here's Carson Gill. He has a wide hole on the left side, and Carson Gill will just rumble for 8, maybe 9 yards. He'll be shy of the midfield stride, but he'll pick up a little over 8 yards, called second down and 1.
Yeah, they continue to roll. That's first down. That's 9 yards on first down, and that's exactly what they want to do. And right now they're just, maybe that's part of the reason. I was going to say they're blocking them awfully well just about the time the flag came out, and I'm sure it's going to be a holding call on Brownsburg. But right now Brownsburg is still controlling the line of scrimmage.
Carson Gill, again, another big run. It's a face mask that's going to be called, a 5-yard face mask called against Avon.
Wow.
Carson Gill has had the holes, and he hasn't needed very big holes, but he has been the beneficiary of some big holes created by that big offensive line of Brownsburg, and with the penalty tacking on to the yardage, it's in Avon territory at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for Johnson and the Bulldogs. Play action pass. Johnson rolls to his right. He will fire down the field. Incomplete. He was looking over to the left side and looking for his intended receiver was Quincy Davis. Pass was high. Davis got popped, but it'll be incomplete. 2nd and 10.
But again, great play call on 1st down. They've been running the football very well. He was wide open. They just didn't make the connection, but, 2nd and 10 now.
Here's Carson Gill. No, it's a keeper by Johnson. Same thing. He goes to the right side. He has daylight to the 20, to the 15. He'll run out of bounds. A penalty flag, however, back at the 33-yard line. This one's coming back as a hold is called against Brownsburg. Another one of those little misdirections. Fake the handoff to Gill. Up the gut between the tackles. Johnson keeps it on the zone read. Had plenty of daylight to the right side, but a penalty is going to bring this one back.
Well, he doesn't run a lot, but when he does run, he's very, very good at it. The 4 and 5 times a game they use him as a runner. I mean, he's very fast, and he is a good athlete. He's not a prime part of their running game, but he runs well enough that he's something you have to be concerned about. And obviously, their coaches upstairs saw that the outside was open, and it was a good play call.
That penalty brings it all the way back to the Avon 43-yard line, where it's going to set up 2nd down and 20. 4 wideouts, 2 to each side. Bulldogs moving right to left in this 3rd quarter. Johnson takes the snap, sets up the screen. He has Bryce Kurtz at the 40, and he's upended as Ian Pendleton came in to upend Kurtz. And Kurtz had a gain of about 5 or 6 yards, but Pendleton made sure that he didn't get much more. It's a gain to the 39-yard line of Avon. That'll set up 3rd and long.
Yeah, I mean, the penalties as a coach, they just kill you. You just can't have them. I mean, it's great for Avon right now because it's put Brownsburg behind, but penalties are just a killer.
Johnson back to pass on 3rd and long, and he's just going to send this one to about the 8-yard line. Unfortunately, his receiver, Bryce Kurtz, had stopped at about the 23. He had just gone just beyond the 1st down marker, and was evidently waiting on Johnson to hit him there, but Johnson expecting Kurtz to continue down with a fly route, and Johnson shaking off that left arm. He might have hit that on a helmet or something as he comes to the sideline, and the penalty kills the Bulldogs as they're now forced to punt.
It does, but again, give Avon's defense credit. I mentioned that they had to stop them. They did stop them. Obviously, the penalty helped. But, they're going to give the offense an opportunity here to get back on the board. The offense is going to have to start clicking and, get the ball in the end zone if Avon's going to come back in this game.
Devin Simon gets the ball away. Back as a single safety was Luke Shayatovich. He's forced to take the fair catch at the 13-yard line, and Avon will set up their offense right there, trailing 27-14. 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this 3rd quarter of play. As again, a warm, muggy night. We are expecting thunderstorms to come through central Indiana sometime a little later tonight. Going to try to get this football in before those storms arrive. And the Orioles will have it 1st and 10 at their own 13-yard line. Again, they trail 27-14 as Cameron Meisner back out onto the field for this 1st down and 10. 3 wideouts to the near side. He will fire to Luke Shayatovich and threw it behind Shayatovich. Shayatovich squaring in, and Meisner threw it as if he was squaring out, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, and right now it's interesting for me to note, I just looked at the defense. They are controlling things so well inside. They're really only playing with 4 down linemen and 1 inside linebacker, at least on that last play. They moved another linebacker out in coverage. They're feeling comfortable enough inside. Same look here again. They've got 4 down linemen and middle linebacker, and that's all they've got in there right now for the running game.
4 wideouts, 3 to the near side. This is Fitzgerald, and they'll gain a couple of yards, but not much more. And as Coach Shelbourne alluded to, that defensive front 4 for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, headed up by Isaac McCormick, Ricky Clark, Josh Thompson, and Antrez Baker, have been doing such a good job. They limit Fitzgerald maybe to a half a yard. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Which is exactly where they can't be. The first down plays for Avon are just killing them. If they can't get 4 and 5 yards, they've got their back to the wall. They've got their back to the wall here again with poor field position.
4 wideouts spread all over the field, 3 to the near side. They show a middle linebacker blitz. It comes. Pulling it out is Meisner. He is pressured. He's going to throw it deep, looking for Shayatovich, and it eventually goes out of bounds. Good heave by Meisner, but the jailbreak was after him, and he got the ball out of his hands back in his own end zone. Shayatovich tried to run underneath the football, but it ends up going out of bounds. And once again, here are the Orioles 3 and out and putting the ball away. Back deep, Bryce Kurtz, Eli Johnson. They will plant their heels at about the 40-yard line of Avon as getting ready to kick this ball away, Mason Stemler from his own goal line. Bulldogs show like they're coming after it. Stemler will get this one away, and he'll get off a fairly decent kick. Fair catch called for by Bryce Kurtz, but once again, here are the Bulldogs with excellent field position as they'll start this drive at the Avon 41-yard line, leading 27-14 with 5:14 left to go in a very, very fast-moving third quarter. So Hunter Johnson quickly off the bench over to the sideline and onto the field as the Bulldogs, who had moved the ball fairly well to start the second half, but have yet to dent the scoreboard. They'll have it 1st and 10 from the Avon 41. And 5:14 left to go. And here's a handoff and a nice play coming in to blow that one up for Avon. Looked like it was C.J. Hunt. Gill nowhere to go as Hunt brings him down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he's a big-time player. He's committed to Bowling Green. Everything I hear from the coaching staff, real positive with his work ethic and attitude. And, he showed why he's a big-time player as well.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Johnson back to pass, fires right side, pass is complete. He'll throw it over to the right side and get it into the hands over there. Eli Johnson was the receiver. Pick up a 7. It'll bring up 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and Brownsburg has been very content just to take what Avon's given them. They backed off the receivers, giving up the short hitch, and they continue to take it.
3rd and 3. Carson Gill, he needed
Close.
3, got 3.5 or 3 in the nose of the football. But he is going to be very close to the first down marker. And they will give him the first down. So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Nose of the football inside the 31-yard line. Clock moving, 4:17 left to go third quarter. We are at the same score we had at the half, 27-14. Carson Gill bounces off one defender, and he will get second effort yardage inside the 25 down to the 24-yard line.
And again, just to repeat myself, first down. Here's Brownsburg again, first down with 5 yards, so now they're 2nd and 5. It makes the play calling a whole heck of a lot easier.
2nd down, 3 yards to go. Johnson back to pass, fires left side. Bryce Kurtz eludes one tackler, but coming back and actually getting back on his feet and coming in and making a nice tackle was Nathan Conley. He went for the juke, but actually had good quick reflexes to come back and make the tackle, but not before Kurtz has the first down at the Avon 15-yard line.
And again, they're very methodical. They know exactly what they get, they know exactly what they want, and they're taking exactly what they need.
3 wide receivers to the far side. This is the tailback, Devin Robinson, into the ball game. He had a couple of carries in the first half, has a carry here. Pickup of maybe a yard to the 14-yard line, 2nd down and 9 for the Bulldogs as the clock moves to 3:15 left to go in the third quarter. Ball on the left hash. Bulldogs moving right to left here in the third quarter. Johnson back to pass now. He'll keep it. He'll run. He'll look for some room, and C.J. Hunt is going to wrap him up and bring him down at about the 11-yard line. That's going to bring up about 3rd down and 6 yards to go for the Brownsburg Bulldogs.
At this point, a field goal actually helps them. It doesn't hurt them at all. I mean, if they get a field goal here, it puts them up by 16. Avon would have to score 2 touchdowns and get 2 extra points, 2-point extra points to get back in the game.
Dogs with 4 wide receivers, 3 to the right. Johnson back to pass. He looks, he fires, looking for the corner. 2 defenders in there.
Good
nice
play.
Job.
Great play.
Coming over, DeQuincy Davis was the intended receiver, but a couple of Avon Orioles there. Ian Pendleton and Carson Nieheiser to break that up. That will bring up 4th down, and it looks like they're going to bring in Devin Steinman to kick the field goal.
Well, Avon's defense did what they had to do. They started on the 40. They gave up a couple of first downs, but they kept them out of the end zone. And the offense has to start clicking here if Avon's going to get back in the game.
This is a 27-yard field goal for Steinman from the near left side. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up. The kick is through. And with 2:26 left to go in quarter number 3, the Orioles now trail Brownsburg 30-14. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. State Farm agent Pete Fay is located at 431 East Northfield Drive in Brownsburg. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. More information about life, auto, and home insurance can be found by calling 317-852-9780. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Kurt David checking in, and join me after the game tonight for Taking You Back, playing the best of the 80s, right here on 98.9 FM, WYRZ.
Devin Steinman connects on a 27-yard field goal, and with 2:26 left to go in the third quarter of play, the Brownsburg Bulldogs extend their lead to 30-14 over the Avon Orioles. Steinman will get ready to kick this ball away as the Bulldogs have moved the football here in this third quarter. They just have only the 27-yard field goal to show for it. Meanwhile, Avon still looking to get their track stuck out of the mud. As Steinman puts a foot into it, he'll kick it, and it'll be taken at the 5. Coming up to the 10, this is Fitzgerald. To the 15, he has met, and he has ripped down on a very, very good open field tackle, something that you don't often see against a player like Brian Fitzgerald, but Savante Sumter Bay made the tackle to bring down Fitzgerald at the 15-yard line.
And again, Avon starts with very poor field position. They've got to go 85 yards here to score.
So this drive will start, as Coach mentioned, on the 15-yard line with 2:20 left to go, third quarter, and Brownsburg up 30-14 as Cameron Meisner has 4 wideouts, 2 to each side of the formation on this 1st and 10. He will drop back to pass. He'll fire deep. He's looking for Cameron Moulton. Moulton is tripped up by the Brownsburg defender. They'll say incidental contact. Devin Parrott running step for step with Cameron Moulton. It'll fall incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, they need something to happen. You've got to go deep occasionally, but now that Avon's faced with a 2nd and 10 situation on their 15-yard line.
2:13 left to go on the clock in the third quarter. And Avon just looking for anything right now. They have yet to pick up a first down, I believe, here in this second half as the third quarter is winding down. Meisner back to pass. He fires. Pass is complete, but Shayatovich will not get very far at all before Storm Garnett, 6'1", 210 senior weak side linebacker, immediately wraps up Shayatovich for no gain. A short pass. It's a completion, but no gain on the play, 3rd and 10.
And again, 3rd and 10 again, and they're ahead by 2 touchdowns, but right now they're playing with 4 down linemen and 1 middle linebacker, and everybody else is playing back in the passing game, and they're playing a zone. They're playing too deep, but they're playing it pretty soft because they're trying to do everything they can to prevent a big play.
4 wideouts, 2 to each side on this 3rd down and 10. Cameron Meisner back to pass. He will step up. He will be dropped from behind. He managed to get the pass off. He had his intended receiver, Samson James, in front. He was a check down. He got it away before he was sacked, but the replay, irregardless, will bring up a 4th down and 10. And once again, the Orioles 3 and out and punting the ball away. Bryce Kurtz, Eli Johnson, once again, they're going to set up shop inside Oriole territory at the 40-yard line. And once again, Mason Stemler, this time he'll be kicking the ball from the 2-yard line. Kicking into a little bit of a wind, and
Avon moved.
Avon rocked back a little bit, anticipating Brownsburg coming after the kick, and that's going to pin Stemler back inside his own end zone to kick this ball away. 1:25 on the scoreboard here at CF Works Stadium, home of the Bulldogs, at BillEstes.com field. And now Stemler will indeed be in the end zone as Johnson and Kurtz will sit at their 35-yard line. Stemler will get it off, and this is a high, short kick. And it's going to take at least an Avon bounce, and what was the ball bounced at the 33-yard line. They're going to get a nice roll out of this as the ball will be down in Bulldog territory at just inside the 50-yard line. But a short kick, but a good roll. And Brownsburg, however, still has excellent field position to start this drive with 1:02 left to go on the third quarter clock. They lead Avon by the score of 30-14 alongside Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott, and once again, Hunter Johnson and the offense come out onto the field. Bulldogs have shown at times they can move the ball, but as they get closer to the Avon side of the field and deep into Avon territory, the Oriole defense has stiffened up. Here is a throwback pass, and this one eluding one man and not getting much farther. It's Kyle Streck, he is listed as the backup quarterback. They put him out as a split end, and you could tell immediately he was going to roll right and throw back to Johnson, looked like who had leaked out left, but the Oriole defenders were there, and it's a 3-yard loss. So they'll bring 3 wides, and once again, Johnson, this time he'll just hand off to Carson Gill, and Carson Gill will say, well, if you give it to me, I'll give you about 5 yards each and every time. He'll get 5 yards inside to Oriole territory at the 48-yard line.
Well, they're very content just to let the clock run. Right now the clock is the biggest ally for Brownsburg, and they're going to continue to do what they're doing successfully. They'll probably run the football a little bit more, although they did try to go for the home run, the kill shot right there on the throwback. But, they're up by 16 right now, and the clock is their biggest ally.
And the clock will show triple zeros as we have come to the end of the third quarter of play here at Brownsburg. We'll switch ends, go to the fourth and final quarter here. The Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. The Brownsburg Bulldogs leading the Avon Orioles by the score of 30-14. Back in a moment. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football on 98.9 WYRZ. Northfield Self-Storage in Brownsburg has a little extra space or a larger space, with storage units ranging from 5x10 to 10x30. They also carry packing supplies such as boxes, tape, bubble wrap, and more. Northfield Self-Storage in U-Haul, located at 1530 West Northfield Drive in Brownsburg, open 7 days a week. Since 1968, the Kersey family has been helping customers with insurance needs. They have insurance coverage for homes, autos, and recreational vehicles. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317.
Tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for Foundational Causes with host William Roadhamel. William is the executive director of the Hendricks County Community Foundation and interviews local nonprofits. You can be informed with charitable organizations in and around Hendricks County with Foundational Causes, hosted by William Roadhamel, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. And if you miss an episode, you can hear an archived version of each program on WYRZ.org. This week, William's guest is Susan Rosie from Leadership Hendricks County.
First play of the fourth quarter, Hunter Johnson rolls out, and his pass is incomplete. And that's how we begin the fourth quarter. He was looking for Eli Johnson. Good pressure from the Avon Orioles on that play. Flushed him to the near side. He had a wide open Eli Johnson at the 32-yard line of Avon. However, pass is incomplete, and now we are going to see the leg as punting the ball away will be Devin Steinman. With a big lead, we won't see Hunter Johnson, who has been known to punt the ball at times for Brownsburg, but again with a 30-14 lead as we begin quarter number 4. And now Brownsburg is going to take a timeout as play clock winds down. Just underway the fourth quarter, alongside Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. It's been a game pretty much controlled by Brownsburg ever since the early portions of the first quarter. Avon had the ball, received the opening kickoff, but just a couple of plays in, a fumble on the play by Samson James gave the ball to Brownsburg, and they eventually scored the first touchdown of the game. And ever since then, they've held a fairly comfortable lead throughout much of the game against Avon. Avon this half has not been able to get anything going offensively. I don't believe they've even been able to make a first down here in this second half. So they will be getting the ball as Steinman's getting ready to kick this one away. Back as a single safety is Luke Shayatovich. He'll stand back as his own 15 as the Orioles are moving right to left as we are now underway in the fourth quarter. Steinman gets the snap, and it's blocked. And it will be brought down, and it is recovered at the 45-yard line. Getting the block for Avon was Sammy Bullock. And coming down with the football and just picking it out of the air was Jalen Edwards.
I mean, that's what they needed. They went for the block. I was watching the protection over here. It looks like they had a little miscue on the right side for Brownsburg. They let a guy come free, and he took advantage of it. Avon now is going to have to take advantage with their offense. They've got to get in.
It is still a two-score game, 30-14, but right now the Orioles, they're just looking for a first down. 4 wideouts, double stack left and right, but the give is to Brian Fitzgerald. And once again, that front four of Brownsburg, which has been so tough all night, this is Isaac McCormick once again blowing up the play and sending Fitz back for a 1-yard loss.
And again, they're doing it with 5 guys. They've got 4 down linemen and a middle linebacker. Occasionally they'll bring the outside linebacker off the edge, but for the most part, it's just those 4 down linemen.
Here's Fitzgerald. He will stutter step, find a hole, and dive forward down to the 41-yard line, but that's going to set up third down and about 7 yards to go for the Orioles. They are in Brownsburg territory, but the clock hitting 11 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and the Orioles down by 16.
They are, but it's 3rd and long again.
3 wide outs to the far side. Meisner back to pass. He'll fire, and he was looking for Cameron Moulton. Moulton cut in. Meisner expected him to cut out, and the pass is incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, and this time Coach Mark Bless is just going to leave the offense on the field.
Well, you're 16 points down. You know, you've got to make something happen. So, you know, I agree with this call. They've got to come up with an 8-yard play.
So it'll be 4th down and 8 for an Oriole team still looking for their first down of the second half. 4 wide outs, 3 to the far side, I should say. Cameron Moulton to the near side. Fitzgerald, the tailback, back to passes Meisner. He gets pressure. Now he'll roll to the right. He'll fumble the football and then just fall on it. He was pressured, rolled to his right. Don't know if he was thinking about just running for the football. He had plenty of green to the right side, or maybe trying to make something happen further downfield. Instead, he fumbles the football, falls on it, but the Orioles will turn it over on downs and give the ball back to Brownsburg, 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 42-yard line.
You know, now's the time when defensively you've got to keep your head up. You've got to make a play. You're still in this game. You can't get your head down because because of the turnover. They've got to hang in there and make something happen.
Johnson in the offense back out on the field. Carson Gill, he will find a whole lot of white-clad Oriole defenders, and he will still manage to fall forward for about a yard, bringing up 2nd and 9. Ball right between the hashes. Bulldogs in the purple jerseys, purple helmets, white pants, moving left to right here in the fourth quarter. Again, a bit of a breeze in the face of the senior quarterback of the Bulldogs, Hunter Johnson, and this play will be blown dead as soon as the snap is made, as we will have a procedure penalty called against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs have been hit by a couple of penalties tonight, and this one will back them up 5. They had a drive that was very impressive looking in the first half and get killed by a holding penalty. And this 5-yard penalty will push them back to their own 38-yard line. Johnson back to pass, quick fires left side, incomplete, looking for Eli Johnson. He saw the corner playing very soft over there, and one of those quick hot reads, saw the corner backed off and just fired it out there, but just can't hook up with his wide receiver.
Yeah, miscommunication. And again, it's tough at this point really for both teams to keep their concentration. The third quarter was really pretty boring compared to what we saw the first half. I will say the Avon defense has picked it up the second half, but right now the offense has just got to get it going.
Play action pass. Johnson all the time in the world. Pass is complete. And he has got his man over here. That is DeQuincy Davis. Excellent protection by that Brownsburg offensive line. They needed about 14, 15 yards. They got 1+. That'll be a first down at the Avon, just inside the Avon 48-yard line.
There was what I would call a clinic pocket there. If you went to a clinic and talked about pass protection and giving your quarterback a throwing lane in plenty of time, Brownsburg's offensive line certainly did it on that last play.
Here's a give to Carson Gill. Look for some room on the left side. Will not find a whole lot. A man there.
Fitz.
Is, I think Brian Fitzgerald, Alex Griffith, who has also been around the ball quite a bit tonight, the middle linebacker for the Avon Orioles. Really no room for Gill. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. He'll bring up second down and 10, but the clock moves to 9:20 left to go in this fourth quarter, and the Bulldogs up by 16. Johnson moves Gill to his right. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the far side. This is a quarterback run all the way. Johnson looks for some room, and he will finally be run out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. I want to remind you, you're listening to 98.9 FM WYRZ-LP in Brownsburg. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week, fourth quarter. 9:05 remains, and the Bulldogs leading the Orioles 30-14. Alongside Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Third down and 9, ball at the 47-yard line of Avon. Brownsburg. Hunter Johnson, he'll roll to his left. Pressure comes. Good block. He'll throw this one downfield, in and out of the hands of Eli Johnson. And I didn't see who peeled back and gave the block, because
one of the running backs, and it was a great peel back block. He got a good hit on the Avon chaser.
Nicholas Gray, who's in at a free safety, was pursuing Johnson. Johnson never saw him, but Gray got picked off. The pass is incomplete, however, and that's going to bring up fourth down. And once again, Devin Steinman on to punt. And Luke Shayatovich is a single safety, will stand back at around his own 18-yard line. High snap.
Block
and
again.
It's almost blocked again. It did get a piece of it.
Yep.
And this ball is going to go out of bounds. Second time that Avon has gotten pressure on Devin Steinman. This ball obviously was touched. Didn't see who got through, but the ball took an immediate right turn.
Yeah, right up the middle that time. So Coach Hart and his staff have something to work on this next week.
The ball will be at the 41-yard line of Avon, down by 2 scores. They are trailing by 16, and they have 8:51 left to go in this football game. So still a lot of work, and for Avon right now, it's just a matter of let's get a first down, because their offense has been stuck in neutral all second half. 4 wideouts, 2 to each side. Back to pass is Meisner. He eludes pressure. Still running, looks to the right side. He is tackled from behind, and it's intercepted at the 48-yard line and taken into Avon territory. Penalty flags all over the place, however. We'll see what that is, but coming away with the interception for the Brownsburg Bulldogs was Josh McKinney. But it looks like a targeting. Was that a targeting call, I believe, is what they're calling against Brownsburg. And as you might be able to tell, the Brownsburg fans are not happy one bit. Neither is the Brownsburg coaching staff, but it's a big, big penalty. It'll nullify the interception, and it'll give Avon their first down of the second half via the penalty, as the ball will be spotted in the Bulldogs' territory at the 44-yard line.
Well, that's not fun for a quarterback. I can tell you from experience when you don't see it coming, and I didn't see it well enough to know if it was targeting or not, but he was chased down from behind, and I know Meisner never saw it coming.
Orioles are running a player on late. As the play clock down to 3, Meisner takes the snap, and actually that is not Meisner. That is Luke Shayatovich running the Wildcat. So did not see Meisner. He evidently is still on the sideline. That was why there was some confusion with an Oriole coming in late, is because they had Shayatovich in at quarterback. And matter of fact, he looks like he's going to stay in at quarterback.
Well, Meisner might have got hurt.
Normally we would have expected to see Zach Reinhardt, but it is Luke Shayatovich in at quarterback for the Orioles. He has Fitzgerald to his right.
They're on an illegal formation. This receiver had to get on a line of scrimmage, and he didn't. They've got too many men in the backfield.
So a penalty against Avon after they lose Cameron Meisner, and they are now forced to turn to Luke Shayatovich. Shayatovich has been their number one.
Wow.
They called it offside. They called offsides against Brownsburg, so either the official didn't see the Avon.
He's signaling back. I was going to say they had 5 guys in the backfield that time. Shayatovich knew, he moved him up.
And Shayatovich will give it to Fitzgerald, who's going to be brought down by a man that has just been all over the place tonight. 6'2", 220-pound senior Isaac McCormick. He gets Fitz before Fitzgerald can even get to the line of scrimmage, a loss of a couple. It'll be 3rd and 8. Well, we'll have to ask Coach Bless how many reps that Luke Shayatovich gets at quarterback.
Well, he gets them. He was a quarterback until this year, so it's not totally foreign, and he does get reps there.
And this might be a passing situation, as it'll be 3rd down and 8. Clock under 7 minutes left to go in the football game. As Shayatovich, nope, this is Meisner is back in. He will throw deep, and he is looking, and there's a penalty flag because this time an obvious mugging occurred. Cameron Moulton is tackled at about the 15-yard line, and flags come flying from all directions. As in coverage was Cooper Mrose for the Bulldogs, and there was a deep ball from Meisner. We saw Moulton tackled, and this time, this is the second time a penalty will give the Orioles a first down on this drive.
Yeah, and there was no way they were going to complete that pass, so that's a big break for Avon.
They'll move the ball down to the 27-yard line, and Cameron Meisner, who took a few plays off as Luke Shayatovich stood in. He comes back, throws the ball deep. They get the penalty, and it's 1st and 10 Avon at the Bulldog 27. Ball on the right hash, 3 wide receivers left side. Meisner back to pass. Pressure comes. He will throw left side. He's looking for Shayatovich. Shayatovich pulls it in for the touchdown.
Got him.
27-yard touchdown pass. Cameron Meisner to Luke Shayatovich, in an offense that has been stuck in neutral all game long. Their first offensive first down results in 6, as it is Meisner to Shayatovich for 27 yards out.
We had plenty of time to throw. He put the ball on the money, and Shayatovich he's got a knack. I mean, he's not a big kid. He certainly knows how to get open. He found the opening. I believe it was just a little out and up by him, and they caught the corner biting to the inside, and it was a great throw by Meisner with great protection, and Shayatovich has picked up another touchdown pass.
Well, the Orioles will go for 2. Can they get the 2-point conversion? That would make it an 8-point game. And they will set the ball on the left hash. 3 wide receivers to the right. Fitzgerald in the backfield with Meisner. Meisner back to pass. He throws to the right, and he has his man in the end zone for 2. And Shayatovich again. He gets the 6 points. He gets the 2 points. And the Orioles now have made this a one-score game.
Yeah, big throw by Meisner and a great pickup, the kind of things that you don't see if you're just watching the game. But they blitzed the linebacker, and that's Fitz's man, and Fitz stepped up into the line of scrimmage, picked him up very well, which allowed Meisner the opportunity to make the throw and Shayatovich to make the catch.
So what has looked like all game long that the Bulldogs were going to maybe run away from this, the Oriole defense has been stiff here in the second half, limiting the Bulldogs to simply a 27-yard field goal as far as what their offense can show on the scoreboard in this second half. And for an Oriole offense that didn't get their first down technically until a penalty here in the fourth quarter, they have now taken advantage of 2 Bulldogs penalties, and they've made it a one-score game as they kick this football away. And it'll be a low drive kick that'll go into the end zone for a touchback. So a good time to see Justin Hydorn, if you're an Oriole fan, kick one into the end zone. That means no time comes off the clock, and the Bulldogs will taking over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
I'm sure both coaching staffs will be examining that call as well, because that if they allowed that play to stand with Brownsburg getting an interception, basically that puts the game away. I mean, they intercept the ball. They've got a nice return. we're up by 2 scores, and, with Avon getting the call in their favor, it allowed them to keep possession of the ball and move it.
Johnson, he has Kurtz over the left side, and Kurtz has the first down. And once again, we see the Avon corners playing well off of the wide receiver there. And it's just a simple pitch and catch, and Kurtz picks up 11 yards, maybe actually make it 13 yards on first down, 1st and 10 Brownsburg.
But a very confident call by Brownsburg. Here Avon has come down, scored, got the momentum in their favor. They're down in their own territory, and they still, choose to throw the football because they're confident in their ability to do that.
Here's Carson Gill, and he'll pick up a couple of yards, but no more. Brian Fitzgerald gets him at the line of scrimmage, and only because Gill fell forward will he pick up 1.5 yards as the clock continues to move. 6:20 left to go in the fourth quarter, 30-22 as Avon has made this a one-score game. Bulldogs have the football as they move left to right here in the fourth quarter. 3 wideouts, 2 to the near side. Johnson looks over the Oriole defense. He'll take the snap, and he'll keep it himself. He'll look for some room on the left side, try to cut it upfield. He'll elude one tackler, and he'll pick up maybe about 5-6 yards up beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Yeah, that makes it very manageable. I was going to comment, but, didn't have time to get it in. That 2nd and 9 is exactly what Avon's defense wanted. But picking up the 8 yards on 2nd down now has made it very manageable for Brownsburg.
3rd and 2, ball on the left hash, 2 wide receivers near side right. Johnson takes the snap. He is flushed to his right. He throws, and incomplete, looking for Bryce Kurtz. Threw that ball well to the outside of Kurtz. And we'll see what they elect to do. They are going to send the punting unit out here, and the Oriole defense does exactly what they needed to do after getting the score. They hold Brownsburg to 1 first down, and then they get the Bulldogs off the field with 5:31 left to go in the fourth quarter, and now they're getting the ball back.
And they have blocked the last 2 punts, so, I would be surprised if Avon doesn't continue to come after them.
Brownsburg will still keep their gunners out left and right. And this play never gets off as a penalty flag will back the Brownsburg Bulldogs up 5 yards. Might have been rocking a little bit in anticipation of that block again. And the 5 yards was going to send Hunter Johnson, who is in as a punter. We talked about this a little earlier. We've seen Devin Steinman. He's had the last 2 blocked. Johnson will punt, and he will do so from his own 22-yard line. And back deep is Shayatovich at around his 36. High snap, but Johnson gets it down. He gets it away, and he gets a pretty good punt off. Shayatovich will fair catch it at the 39-yard line. So that'll set up 5:23 left to go in the fourth quarter. The Orioles trail by 8, but they have the ball 1st and 10 at their 39-yard line.
Well, this is where they wanted to be. They wanted an opportunity to come back and win the game, and that's exactly what's happened. The defense has played well the second half, and the offense has been good enough, and now they have an opportunity to, move Avon down the field and see if we can get it in the end zone.
So the ball at the 39-yard line is Meisner has 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fitzgerald is the tailback. And Meisner will be back to pass. He sets up the screen. Fitzgerald takes it. He will spin at the 40, and an outstanding tackle to trip up Brian Fitzgerald because Jalen Keith managed to get Fitz. Fitz made a nice spin move, but Keith reached out a hand. It is still going to be about a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7, but it could have been much more.
Yeah, nice open field tackle because that was set up very well, and again, good first down play.
They will double stack the split ends left side. There'll be 3 wides to the left, 1 to the right on this 2nd and 7. Brownsburg shows a blitz, but this play will go nowhere, and once again might have had a illegal formation as Cameron Moulton was even standing here looking at the official, and once again might have had too many people in the backfield. Either way, it's going to back it up to the 37-yard line, and now Avon finds itself at 2nd and 12.
And they just have to keep the composure. They don't have to get it all back on one play. They don't have to get it all back on one, one first down here. They've got 4.5 minutes to go. They just need to consistently move the football.
This time Moulton will step back a yard, and back to pass is Meisner. He'll fire downfield. Shayatovich in and out of his hands at the 50-yard line. He was running in stride. The ball was delivered in stride, but this time Shayatovich couldn't bring it in, and it's going to bring up 3rd and long. Third down and 12, ball at the Avon 37-yard line. 4 minutes and 21 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Brownsburg leads 30-22. Avon trails by 8. And on this third and long, they will send Moulton and Shayatovich to the near side. I think Carmichael will be out on the far side with, and we'll see what they do with 4 wide receivers here as Meisner looks over that 4 down front. They will send the middle linebacker. He gets through, no penalty flag. Meisner will launch it. He's looking downfield and out just beyond the outstretched reach of Chad Carmichael. I'm sure that Avon coaching staff is looking for an offsides there because it looked like the middle linebacker for Brownsburg, Anthony Cicerelli, he was across the line, but he made it, just timed his blitz just perfectly.
I mean, it was very close. I mean, hats off to him for timing it as well as evidently the officials thought he did it, but it was very close. But, Meisner made a great play to avoid it and get himself outside and make a long throw on the run. It was nearly completed for a touchdown.
Well, with 4:13 and 3 timeouts left, Coach Bless is going to send the punting unit out, and here's a great kick. Mason Stemler, here's a great bounce. It's going to roll inside the 5. It's going to be tapped back. It will crawl at the 1-yard line and just tiptoe on the goal line. Mason Stemler hit a beauty of a punt, a great roll. Good coverage by Avon. It looked like it was tapped back, but it just kind of danced at that goal line, and the official said the football touched it. And it's going to be brought out to the 20, and that's where Brownsburg will have it 1st and 10. 4 minutes and 1 second remain. They lead 30-22.
Yeah, well, that sure would have made it a lot more interesting if they'd been able to, stop that ball from going in the end zone. If they could have had the ball down there on a 1 or 2 yard line, it would have put a lot more pressure on Brownsburg. As it is, they've got a little room to operate here. There are 4 minutes to go in the game. They have to keep them from getting a first down. That's a good start right there.
Carson Gill, the ball carrier, Gunnar Larson, met him at the line of scrimmage and said, "No more, young man." And he might gain a football length, but that's it. And we'll have a timeout called by Avon. 3 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Timeout on the field. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Anderson Chiropractic is located at 7390 Business Center Drive in Avon. They handle sports injuries, whiplash injuries, as well as sciatic pain. Same-day appointments are welcome. More information can be found at www.avonspinedocs.com or by calling 317-272-7000. Brownsburg Parks is relocating. Information on fall and winter programs and events in Brownsburg can be found at their new office location at 402 East Main Street or at their website at www.brownsburgparks.com. After the timeout, 2nd and 10, Johnson back to pass. He looks, he fires. He's looking for Kurtz. Kurtz will make the catch. Ball thrown a little bit too far out of bounds, but Kurtz managed to get 1 foot in bounds. It's a nice catch, and the game out to the 43-yard line of Brownsburg.
Yeah, if he could have kept him in bounds. He ran an out and up, and I think they're actually going to call Avon for a hold or an interference. He made a great move. He pumped him, on the out move and turned it up, and he was totally wide open. The throw took him out of bounds. Otherwise, he could have gone all the way for the touchdown.
So it's a big gain of 23 yards to the 43-yard line. Ball is on the right hash.
More importantly, it's time off the clock now.
3:37 and counting. Johnson will keep it himself. He's looking for some room on the left side, tries to turn it up, and he will keep it in bounds. He'll keep on his feet, and he will take it to the 40-yard line. I think a few Avon players thought he might go out of bounds, but he cut inside, picked up another few yards, and it'll be a pickup of about 16-yard line. 16 yards, I should say, to the 40-yard line of Avon, and then more importantly for Brownsburg, clock continues to move, 3:22 left to go.
Yeah, Avon has got to get a stop, and again, the clock is going to kill them right now because they've only got 2 timeouts left.
So Johnson will be happy to let this thing just keep winding down.
Well, the 40-second runoff is a new rule, and it really hurts in these situations.
Play clock down to 4, and as Johnson takes the snap, he'll give to Carson Gill, who'll take it right up the middle for a gain of about a yard with 2:54 in counting. Again, Brownsburg has 2nd and 9. Avon has 2 timeouts remaining. They don't elect to use one here, so by the time they snap this football again, there'll be about 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go on the clock. And Hunter Johnson, a senior and a wily, very experienced player that he is. He's been playing for a long time here at Brownsburg. He knows just to milk that clock down to about 4 seconds or so and get the snap off. It's down to 8, 7, 6, and at 5, he takes the snap. He gives to Carson Gill, and Gill finds some room over the right side before Brian Fitzgerald upends him, but not before Gill gets inside the 30 to the 34-yard line. And now Avon will use the second of their 3 timeouts with 2:13 left to go on the game clock. And now this is the play of the game right here. We'll see what Avon can do as Brownsburg will have it 3rd down and 4. The ball is spotted at the Avon 34-yard line. The wind would be in the face of Brownsburg if they're thinking of kicking this football, but more than likely not going to happen. As Coach said, they have the 40-second runoff, so they can run a play here, force Avon to use one more timeout.
And I'll be surprised if they don't run it twice, because an incomplete pass would stop the clock as well. So, they've got to get 3 yards here in 2 runs. I'm sure they feel comfortable and confident to get that done. We probably won't see anything fancy. They've been very successful with the inside zone and a little guard pull around power play, and also with, Hunter Johnson running the quarterback sweep.
They are looking over at the right side as Brownsburg now shifts personnel. 2 wide receivers to the near side. They'll bring a man in motion. That's Behrens, and Johnson will keep this. He'll look for some room. He's not going to find a whole lot of room. As a matter of fact, this is going to be a big loss back to about the 40-yard line. He was looking for some room on the left side, but there were 3 Oriole defenders pinning him in. He had nowhere to go, and now Coach Mark Bless will use his final timeout with 2:06 left to go, and that's going to bring up, they're going to stop him at the 37-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th down and about 7.
Well, the defense had to come to play on that series, and they did. Giving up the first down ran some time off the clock, but, with the game down here now and the last couple of minutes of the game, if Brownsburg had gotten another first down on this series, the game would have been over. At least now this gives Avon an opportunity and a last opportunity to, take the ball down the field even with time short and without any timeouts, to at least have a chance to get on the board and possibly tie this game up to get it into overtime.
But for the Orioles, it'll be imperative. They cannot let Brownsburg get a first down here. The game is over. So 4th down and 7. Johnson has 3 wide receivers to the near side. H-back right. Johnson back to pass. He steps up. Pressure comes. He'll roll right side. Passes in and out of the hands. Incomplete. He was looking over here to the near side. Eli Johnson was his intended receiver. Nathan Conley in coverage for the Avon Orioles.
Yeah, big play. He played it all the way, got his hand out there and knocked the ball down. And, again, they did what they had to do, plus they got the clock stopped.
And that clock now reads 2 minutes. So
and good field position.
With the ball spotted at the Avon 37. So your prototypical 2-minute offense in gear here, except for Avon. They have no timeouts remaining, but they have a chance. They have the ball at the 37-yard line, trailing by 8. As Meisner comes in, blitz comes. He'll step up into the pocket now. He'll roll right, and he'll throw it out of bounds. Pressure came right up the middle from Brownsburg, forcing Meisner to his right. And he was going to maybe try to force it into a window on the right side, but just throws it out of bounds. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Well, the protection scheme that Avon is using has the back picking up that linebacker, and for the most part, they've really done a good job. They have picked him up, but he's gotten enough penetration to get in the face of Meisner and force him to change his throwing point, and that disrupts the timing of the route.
4 wideouts for the Orioles, 2 to each side of the formation. Ball moving right to left for Avon. Meisner back to pass as he takes the snap, fires downfield, incomplete. Looking for Shayatovich, and a penalty flag comes flying. And right now, the Brownsburg coaching staff more than a little livid as this penalty flag was thrown from the sideline about 30 yards away. And it's going to be a pass interference call against the Bulldogs.
And I think it was on Shayatovich in the middle of the field. I don't even think it was on the intended receiver.
So give 15 yards here, and that's a big, big 15 yards. That's about where the pass was thrown, as it will now be marked in Bulldog territory at the 48-yard line. Clock shows 1:50 remaining. The Orioles trail by 8. No timeouts remaining, but they have a chance as they are now in Bulldog territory. They will send 4 wideouts, 2 to each side of the formation, as they'll stack them left and stack them right. Fitzgerald, the lone tailback behind Meisner, looking down a 4-man front. Bulldogs showing that they might blitz the middle linebacker as they have him up, but he'll back off in coverage. Meisner back to pass. They set up the screen. Here's Fitzgerald at the 45, at the 40, and running out of bounds. He'll have the first down inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line.
Great call. Good call by Coach Eric Moore. They've been coming. They know they're coming. You know, you do 2 things there. You slow down the pass rush a little bit, and you also get the ball to your best player in the open field. He took what he thought he could get. He was smart enough, again, as an experienced senior, to get what he could get. And instead of turning the back inside and getting tackled in bounds, he took it out of bounds to stop the clock. Avon's on the 40 with 1:45 to go here. So, you know, time is not as big a factor as it looked like it would be earlier.
Fitzgerald did not get the first down. They'll mark him a yard short. 2nd and 1. This time they will bring the linebacker. Meisner, protection breaks down. He loses the football. I think he fell back down on it, but it's a big loss back
and the
to
clock
the 47.
And the clock is still running.
Clock now shows 1:30 and counting. And it's a loss back to the 47-yard line, as they are telling the coaching staff, imploring the Avon players they need to get back to the line of scrimmage, as already 15 seconds has run off the game clock. We're now at 1:15, and they've lost maybe 20 seconds now, as players now they're confused about where to go. So a lot of time.
I was going to say, until he got up on the line of scrimmage, they were in a legal formation, but he figured it out and got up there.
They take the snap with a minute left. Meisner back to pass. He fires. Pass incomplete. He was looking, I believe, for Luke Shayatovich at the 40-yard line. Shayatovich looking for the penalty flag. It does not come. That'll bring up 4th down and 9. Clock stops with 57.6 seconds remaining. And now the clock, while it's still important, it's more important that Avon gets a first down here.
Yeah, if they don't get a first down, this game's over. But they have an opportunity. They're in good field position. They've got 4th and 9. The protection here in the last couple of plays has been better. They've just got to figure out a way to get somebody open for more than 9 yards.
Garendo, Shayatovich, Moulton to the near side. 3 wide receivers, 1 to the far side. That's Chad Carmichael.
Offsides.
And now, this time that Brownsburg was bringing the middle linebacker, Anthony Ciccarelli, who has been doing this most of the game.
Yeah, no doubt about that time, though. He definitely stepped offside.
And that'll march off 5 yards. And now it actually brings up a manageable first down. You can maybe hit an out route about 5 yards out, get out of bounds, get the first down, and still have about 50-some-odd seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, but they're not going to give up an out route. They're up playing tight. They're going to force them to run something down the middle. I mean, the opening's down the middle of the field if that's the shot they want to take.
Once again, Ciccarelli, he jumps. He gets it
right
there. At the 30-yard line
right
down
there
to the 27. Pass is complete. That is Chad Carmichael on the receiving end, as the Orioles now have it 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 27, 52.4 seconds. This time they're at the line of scrimmage as the clock continues to run, and he will simply spike the ball while Cameron Meisner to stop the clock with 47.5 seconds left. 2nd and 10 from the Bulldog 27.
Yeah, right now they're playing it too deep. They're up pressuring hard. They're trying to get it done with a 4-man rush, occasionally sending the middle linebacker, but they're up there trying to take away the out and the quick stuff. The opening is down the middle, which they found the last time, or up the sidelines if they can get a clean release. So they're playing 2 deep safeties right now. If they can get they've got a free run with the tight end here. If they can get him down the middle, he's wide open.
2nd and 10. Meisner, this time the middle line box drops back. Meisner to throw. This one high in the air. And almost brought down. That was Chad Carmichael. That was shades of last week with Luke Shayatovich against Hamilton Southeastern. with a one-hand tip and brought it back in for the score. Carmichael this time, he can't quite bring it in. That'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Well, Meisner showed great poise there. He did get rushed. He kept his poise. He stayed in the pocket. He just kind of moved himself over, found an open receiver, and under pressure made a pretty good throw.
40.5 seconds remain. 3rd and 10 at the 27 of Brownsburg. 2 wideouts to each side. Meisner takes the snap. He will set in the pocket, fires right side. He'll get it to Shijatovic. He'll go out of bounds, but this is a pickup of only about maybe 4 yards inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th and 7.
Yeah, the opening is still right down the middle or to the outside. They've, and I know they've got routes to get people there, and I know Coach Moore knows that as well. So I'm not, speaking any secrets here right now, but it's a matter of figuring out how to get somebody into the open areas. They're playing 2 deep safeties and try to pressure the receivers up on the line of scrimmage. They've got to get somebody right down the middle. I mean, you can see it from here pretty clearly.
4th and 7, 35.9 seconds. Low snap. Meisner has to pick it up off the ground. He'll fire left side looking for Isaac Correndo and throws it out of the back of the corner of the end zone. And that is going to be the football game. The Brownsburg Bulldogs, who at one point led this game by 16 points, but the Avon Orioles defense played a very, very good second half, limiting the Bulldogs to only 3 points. But unfortunately for the Orioles, their offense really couldn't get out of neutral until the 4th quarter. And Brownsburg is going to survive and have a very, very big win here, as they will go to 4-0 on the season, as Coach John Hart has the Bulldogs, go into the victory formation, and that is going to do it. Final score as the clock winds down and the Bulldogs take to the field. They will not have to snap it anymore, and they will pick up the win as the Brownsburg Bulldogs will defeat the Avon Orioles to move to 4-0 on the season with a big 30-22 win. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, some final thoughts on tonight's game. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Propane Incorporated is located at 375 West Main in Brownsburg. They offer 24/7 all-weather live emergency service, as well as online and budget billing for commercial and residential locations. More information can be found by calling Propane Incorporated at 317-852-8916. Reynolds Body Shop has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, providing collision repair. They're located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com or call 317-243-2372. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher Lefebvre of Avon Dental Center have been in practice in Hendricks County for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area, just east side of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or by calling 317-272-8100.
More flashback party sounds and your radio sure feels better. It's party time. All oldies.
This week on the Flashback Party, we'll be playing what I think were the worst #1 songs of all time. Just my opinion. You may disagree. Find out this week on the Flashback Party.
Flashback Party with Bob Jenkins, underwritten by Brooknoll Village in Avon, right here on WYRZ.
Red Cobra Wrestling offers training sessions from Chad Red. They're located at 9233 East Highway 36 in Avon, across the street from Walmart and behind sidelines in the Red Brick Building. They offer sessions for all ages, including 3rd grade and under and 4th grade and up. Learn more at redcobrawrestlingacademy.com. McNamara Florist has been in business since 1954 with 8 locations, including the Avon store on Rockville Road. They offer floral designs for various occasions. They're located at 9655 East Highway 36 in Avon and can be reached at 317-579-7900.
Kurt David checking in, and join me after the game tonight for Taking You Back, playing the best of the 80s, right here on 98.9 FM, WYRZ.
Since 1968, the Kersey family has been helping customers with insurance needs. They have insurance coverage for homes, autos, and recreational vehicles. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or their website at www.farmersagent.com/K Kersey. Back at Brownsburg High School on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. Brownsburg Bulldogs hold on for the 30-22 win alongside the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. I'm Brian Scott. First half and second half, man, we couldn't have had two totally diametrically opposed halves here at this football game. A wild first half, turnovers abound, and Brownsburg, for the most part, pretty much having their way offensively, doing whatever they wanted to do. In fact, they had the lead going in at the half, and they kept that lead in the third quarter. As even though they were able to move the ball up and down the field, all they could get is a 27-yard field goal that made it a 27-14 game. And for the most part, it still looked like Brownsburg wasn't going to have many problems in this football game, as they were really stifling the Avon Orioles defense. But in the fourth quarter, a couple of Brownsburg penalties and then a big touchdown pass from Cameron Meisner down the field. That changed the complexity of this game. It made it an 8-point game after Luke Shayatovich, who not only caught the touchdown pass but caught the 2-point conversion, made it a one-score game. But in the end, Brownsburg holds on. They win this game by the score of 30-22. They go to 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Meanwhile, for the Avon Orioles, kind of a disappointing comeback after last week's big game against Hamilton Southeastern, in which they knocked off then number 4 Southeastern 31-28. They kept the turnovers low. They kept the offense in gear. Tonight, couldn't quite find that same type of rhythm, even though the defense, especially in the second half, played very, very well, limiting the Bulldogs to just the 3 points. And I bring in Coach Dave Shelbourne. Again, we kind of mentioned it. You mentioned it here in the fourth quarter. An exciting first half, kind of a boring second half. But Brownsburg, they're not going to complain. They're going to walk away with a win.
Well, I thought they totally dominated the first half. But if I'm Coach Bless and the staff, I'm a little bit excited about the way the Avon kids kind of hung in there the second half. They had the 2 block punts. That kind of will go unnoticed. The defense held Brownsburg to a field goal after them dominating the first half. And Avon, again, even though they were inconsistent offensively the second half, they did find a way to score a touchdown and, get themselves back in this game here a little bit. And I just, I like their attitude the second half. I thought they came and played to win. At the end, they did have a chance to get back. My hat's off to Brownsburg. I thought they played very well, came in with a good basic game plan, didn't do anything out of the ordinary, especially defensively. I mean, they just pretty much lined up in that 4-3 defense. And like I said, I mentioned late in the game, they were just playing 5 guys inside. Of course, they were ahead a little bit, and the only blitzing I saw was the middle linebacker on occasion, and he did a good job timing it most of the time. But they just, kind of sat back and played a little bit of zone, and they bent a little bit, didn't give up big plays, and offensively, for the most part, I thought their offensive line handled the defense in front of Avon, especially in the first half. The second half, Avon picked it up a little bit. So, it's one of those games. It's still early in the season. My hat's off to Coach Hart. He came in here brand new. He inherited, I think, a pretty good football program from Coach Comer. I have a world of respect for again. But, the Avon Brownsburg is the one, these communities and these schools and these kids, you hang your hat on that, for a year, and that's all you talk about. And, I'm sure Avon right now, they'll lick their wounds. They'll come back. They'll get better as the season goes on. And I would bet that if you asked everybody on the coaching staff and all the players what their hoping is for a tournament draw that brings them, Brownsburg again late in the year and gives them an opportunity to play 4 quarters instead of, the 2 pretty much that they played out here tonight. But again, I thought Avon played a lot better, a lot more spirited. Made a few more plays here in the second half. Brownsburg overall, I thought, came in with an excellent game plan and executed it very well, and came out of here, in my opinion, with a very impressive win.
For Coach John Hart, again, another pretty nice game from his senior quarterback, Hunter Johnson. And in Carson Gill, that might be a bit of a surprise to some people to see just how good of a running attack Brownsburg has. A lot of people have expected that the speed that they've had in their wide receivers, we've seen it from Bryce Kurtz, we saw it from Eli Johnson tonight, but Carson Gill proved to be a pretty tough back, able to get some pretty tough yardage.
Well, plus you can pronounce it, I can't, but he's following an awfully good running back, who's off at Iowa. So the expectation here the last 4 years from the Brownsburg fan was Toke, and you pronounce the last name, but what a great running back he was. So that's a tough act to follow. But you're right, their running game tonight was very impressive. And, it wasn't that they were doing anything really all that fancy. They just dominated things up front, and he ran very, very hard.
So the Bulldogs, they now go to 4-0, their first win in the HCC, and now they have a big, big game next week at Fishers. Last I saw, Hamilton Southeastern had actually taken a lead in that game. They were leading 23-20 in the Mudsog battle. This one actually goes a long way for the newly minted B&O Rotary Bell. Both these teams now, they take all the fall sports. They take the matchups against one another, and at the end, whichever school won the most, they'll get to house that brand new B&O Rotary Bell. It is quite a piece of hardware, and this game tonight will probably go a long way in deciding who might be taking that home. Tonight, the win goes to the Bulldogs. They go to 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and as I mentioned, they travel on the road next week at Fishers. For the Avon Orioles, a disappointing loss, but when you take a look at this Avon Orioles schedule, there's not a whole lot of people that are going to feel too sorry for them. Why? Their first 4 opponents all were ranked in the top 10 in the state of Indiana in either Class 5A or Class 6A. They have played one of the toughest schedules that you will find, and right now they find themselves with a 2-2 record, 1-1 in Hoosier Crossroads Conference play. They will play at Whiteland next week. This is a 5A team that has normally a very long and very storied history. Whiteland has always been a very, very tough team, but it's a team also that Avon has handled pretty well the past couple of years, but they will be at Whiteland in the non-conference game before returning back to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium on September 23rd as they will take on the Fishers Tigers. Our game next week on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week, we will take you to Plainfield, or actually we're going to take you to Greenwood, as Plainfield Quakers will take on the Greenwood Woodmen. The pregame show begins at 6:30, and the kickoff is set for 7 o'clock. And if you didn't get enough high school football tonight, tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. as Westside Plumbing presents the Tri-West Bruins Football Game of the Week. Another rivalry game as the Tri-West Bruins tonight are taking on the Danville Warriors, and you can hear all the action with a replay tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock right here on 98.9 FM WYRZ. The Brownsburg Bulldogs, they get the big win. They knock off number 10 Avon as the 9th-ranked Bulldogs win 30-22. For my broadcast partner Dave Shelburne, my name's Brian Scott. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. Stay tuned. Kurt David is taking you back to the 80s up next on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Thank you for listening to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Tonight's game was broadcast with the help of Audiosportsonline.com and underwritten by the Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg, Panuni's Pizza and Wings, Westside Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Pete Fay, State Farm Insurance, Ivy Tech, Crane Credit Union, Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Floors, Red Cobra Wrestling, and Avon Dental Center.